Hey, we're gonna have fun, guys. A lot of fun, actually. Let's chat out. There we go. So, the timer isn't working. No, I was waiting a little bit to make it start running. There we go. It should start now. Am I dressed up as a pirate? Maybe. That's a possibility. I'm not gonna deny that possibility. Hello, we got Musa MK and Chixba on the YouTube. What's up, Calamancito as well? Hello, guys. Oh, hello. You don't hear anything, Wolf Girl? No, we do have audio. I just gave you a huge congratulations for your graduation. Hopefully you heard that. Do we have music? Can you guys hear the music? Should be there on the background. Game Day Sam. What's up, guys? And we got CBAM Me Lumbro as well. Oh, I do have a couple of surprises. I think you guys are gonna enjoy them. Not considering this though. There we go. What's up, Wolf Girl? Gonna be reading the messages in just 1 second, guys. There we go. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit tricky, but Calamancito says, Ave, are you planning on making a video gesture form and proportions? Well, I was not planning on doing it, but to be honest, that's a great topic, Calamancito. I think we could definitely do something like that. Normally, that's used a little bit more for traditional, like, 2D drawing, right? Like, if you're doing gesture drawing or if you're doing that kind of stuff. But, yeah, that could definitely work for 3D as well, as I mentioned on the last video. We got Anthony here as well. What's up, my friend? All good over here. Really happy for what we're gonna be revealing today. Oh, you guys are ready for that? I've been leaving some little hints and little details here and there. Let's see. Mike Segarra says, yeah, I needed something productive to watch. Oh, welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome to my stream. There you go, Anthony. Solid Mango says, my money is on female pirate full game pipeline. Okay, that's a nice bet. What do you think about Houdini? Houdini is amazing, man. Houdini is like, it's a beast, to be honest. It's like a really, 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 really powerful software. Like, really, really, really powerful one. Friend there on Instagram. See. Game Day Sam says, well, first of all, Anish says, hi Ave, how are you? I'm doing great, my friend. Really, really happy to be here. Really excited. I've been very nervous the whole week because I've been preparing this surprise for you. And well, not only in this week, we've been working on this for a long time now. But every single time that I'm announcing or releasing a new course, I'm always, of course, a little bit nervous, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really, really happy to be here, man. Really, really happy for this. And yeah. Let's see. I'm really confused about what aspect of 3D I should focus on. Any suggestions, Abe? Game Day Sam? Yes. I mean, it's a tricky question, right? Because there's so many different things that you can do in 3D. You can do animation, you can do modeling, you can do, again, like a bunch of different things. So my first advice would be pick something that you like. Like it will be very counterintuitive to be doing something that you don't actually enjoy. For instance, I do animation every now and then when I need to, but I don't really enjoy animation as much, to be honest. I'm very impatient in that sense. So anything that requires me to be going over the same thing for multiple things, like animation or VFX, for instance, is one of those things that I don't really like doing as much. And that way, or because of that, I don't really focus too much on that, like, part of the process. So that would be my first advice, like focus on something that you actually like, that you enjoy doing. Once you have that decision, then the next thing that I would recommend is find something that you're good at. That's going to be important. Second here. So yeah, find something that you enjoy and then find something that you're good at. Those are two important things. Unfortunately, what I'm gonna have to do today, but I'm gonna have to remove my headphones, so I'm not gonna be able to listen as much. I have here. Let's see, we got Eon Igapel. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Mathcrafter Studio says, hey, if I got the job making models for an interactive fantasy game, 40 models. Dude, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you, dude. That's really cool. 40 models, that's a lot. Like, I remember my first job out of school was something similar. I got enrolled, or I got hired by a small indie studio, and we were doing a sort of like it was not a, what was it? It was like a turn-based military fantasy RPG thing. Like, if you think about Warhammer, it was something like that. So we were doing a lot of models for like a tabletop simulation game, and I did like 20 or 30 different models for them. I don't even remember how many. I was just starting, but it was so cool. So congratulations, Mathcrafter. You got a lot of work to do now. 40 models, that's not small feat. We got David Sarn here on the stream now. What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome. We just got a few more minutes to go. Normally I would turn on my camera, you know, answer some questions, get some fun, but I got a little surprise for everyone. I keep my camera off until we start with the stream. We've had a lot of stuff going on this past couple of weeks, right, guys? Like, we started with Echoes of Caera Aurelia last week. Yeah, last week, right? Like, last week we announced the winners for the contest. Amazing winners, by the way. And then we had our anniversary a couple of weeks ago as well. And now, new course release. Oh, I think you guys are gonna really like this one, to be honest. Lux Noctis says, I recently started the Oni course. What would you suggest as practice for going through it? Do I repeat the lessons and get better at it that way, or are there other practices? Yeah, so the Oni course is definitely designed so that you follow along with it. So my best advice is try to do like one chapter, like watch all of the videos on one chapter and then you do them, or a couple of videos and then you do them. Actually, no, not the full chapter. Try to do video by video, because if I remember correctly, with the Oni, we do like each section of the body, and then we do some props, and we do poly paint and pose. So yeah, so just watch the video, and then after you watch the video, you do the exercise. That's very, very important. A very common mistake that people do when watching tutorials is they watch the full tutorial and they think that they already know what's happening with that tutorial. and that's not the way it works, because your brain might think that you know how to do it, but unless you actually do it, you don't know how to do it. So anytime you watch a tutorial or you follow a course or whatever, make sure you actually do the exercise. Even if you think, oh, that's very simple, I know how to do it now, you do it. Just do it. Just follow the process so that you have that sort of like muscle memory and you remember the actual steps, where to click, how to do it, and then you move forward. Because otherwise, believe me, months from then, you're going to forget about it and you're going to have to watch it again. Let's see. When I was doing that one, I was just following along, even pausing all the time. Yep. That's usually the way to go. That's usually the way to go. Just following along. Basic or Basic, what's up, my friend? Welcome. Oh, it's a surprise. Just 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I'm not sure if that's... Like, do you guys work with music? Of course you do, right? Every artist works with music. Okay, so this is not that bad. Not ideal, but it's not that bad. At least I can... Nah, it looks horrible. I have to sacrifice music for now. For the memes. Let's see. Did you test Ahoge? What is Ahoge? Oh, I have not tested that. I don't even know what that is. What is that, Anthony? Is that a game? I work while watching friends in the background. Yeah. As long as there's some sort of like information going in your ears, I feel like that helps us concentrate even more, right? Aaron, what's up, my friend? David Dolce Mascolo. Hello, my friend. Yeah, just in time. You're just in time. Actually, need to check something real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. Sometimes my camera freaks out and it doesn't do the autofocus, or it gets out of frame. It's a little bit annoying. The hair card making thing in Maya with curves. It's a plugin for Maya to do hair like Action, but it's not Action or hair cards. No, I have not tried that one. I've been using Fibershop quite a bit for the past couple of months. I've been teaching it as well to some of my mentees, because it's a really powerful way to create your hair cards. And there's another plugin called GS Curves that's really good as well for Maya to place them properly. Ahoge, right? Yeah, no, I have not tried that one in particular. Do you have or know any environment creation course for video games mainly? No, but I do have a little bit of a news about that one. I've been debating what to do with that course, and it's been a sort of like an internal struggle on whether to do a full course or not. The problem with a course about the environment, and I've talked with David about this, is that it will be very long, like a very long course. Like I was recording one earlier this year, and I was already like at 20 hours of content, and we were like not even starting with like the the things that we needed to make it look cool on the engine. Like we were just doing basic like modeling and sculpting and some techniques to prepare everything, frame sheets, things like that. So I'm really debating on whether I want to do a full course or if I'm just gonna like share some of those techniques online on YouTube. So I'm still thinking about what's the best approach for that kind of stuff. Just be patient, but we'll have more information about that soon. Have more information. We're almost ready here. With like a full course UE5. Here's the thing about UE5, Shufan. UE5 is such a massive software. You could learn everything you need to know about environments, for instance, and you would still feel like lost if you were trying to do things like FX, or if you tried to do things like metahumans, right? Or if you tried to do things like programming with blueprints. It's so complex that it's very complicated to just like master everything. Max Swag, what's up, my friend? What is up, my friend? Make a video of Fivershop. Maybe a simple mustache. Okay, one quick clarification there, Aaron. Fiverr shop, it's a really good software, but it's just to create the hair cards. It's not to place them, it's not to shade them, so you still need to do a lot of the process for that stuff. Nabi, what's up, my friend? Hey, I think we're almost ready, guys. We're almost ready. 25 seconds. Oh, I'm getting nervous. Now I'm definitely getting nervous. There we go. Yeah, that works. At least my headphones are close to me and I have a little bit of a background music and I can hear any alert and things like that. Calamancito, Ave, I'm already 25. I'm afraid that I'm too old to learn and become a 3D character artist. Hold that question, Calamancito. Hold that question because I'm going to answer that very, very soon, okay? There we go. We ready? You guys ready? Everyone's ready? Yeah, no. We are ready. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let us go. Hello, everyone. And welcome to a very special stream. This is your captain, Ave, speaking. And I got some good news for you. Some really, really interesting news for you. And the thing is, we've been working very hard. Not only me, but the whole team. David, Alan, everyone. We've been editing, we've been preparing, we've been just making sure that everything is ready for this moment. We have the new course ready. And you guys probably know what it is about because I've been dropping hints. I have this tendency to drop a couple of things, like again, like tips and just like indications, a little bit of a spoiler here and there. Some of you might have been able to catch some of the information from this course, but no one has been able to match everything. Eye patch is killing me, so I'm gonna be removing it soon. Because otherwise, without glasses, I'm not gonna be able to see anything. Okay, that's a little bit better. It looks a little bit awkward, but there we go. Nick Fury Ave's gonna tell us about the Avengers. No, it's not the Avengers. I do have the eye patch, but it's not the Avengers. So, you guys were right. This course is pirate theme. We have a very, very interesting character that we're gonna be doing. And I spoiled something. Let me remove the patch real quick because it's making me annoying. But we're gonna keep the hat. We're gonna keep the hat for the whole stream. So there we go. Or pirate hat. I had to go and look to multiple stores yesterday trying to find a freaking pirate hat. Do you know how difficult it is to find a pirate hat when it's not Halloween? It can be tricky. It can definitely be tricky. So yeah, one of the things that I mentioned, and this was a couple of weeks ago. Let's go here to the mainstream. You can see the chat. So I'll open this. This is nothing. You're gonna see how this little thing fits into the whole thing in just a second. But this is nothing. This is just a quick little rock that I created. But that's a great idea, no soy Lotus. I could have painted one of my glasses black, right? So one of the things that I've mentioned was that this next course, the concept that we're going to be using for this next course was a really good concept. And one of the things that I can tell you is that the level of the concept that we're using, and I think the level of the course as well, is really up there. So I don't know. I think we're ready. You guys are ready? David, are we ready? Are we ready to showcase what we've been cooking here on the team? Let's see, let me just make sure that everything is set up and we got everything ready. So, without further ado, without any other announcement right now, let's go, my friends. I'm very happy. Well, not that one. This one. I'm very happy to announce the 11th course for the Leal 3D channel. This amazing community that you guys have been building along with us is ready. And here is the trailer. 1 second. I'm just gonna stop the music for just one bit right here. And that was the music stuff. Stop the music. And there we go. Here's the trailer, my friends. Here we go. What if you could create a stylized 3D character? Fully sculpted, hand-painted, and game-ready, just like the ones in your favorite games. In this course, I'll take you step by step through the full production of this undead pirate captain. Concept is by the amazing Labros Paunousis, who knows exactly what is needed to create an amazing character design. We will be sculpting the high poly in ZBrush. We will retopologize it, prepare the UVs, bake, and then the part that everyone loves. We dive directly into hand painting our character. We will cover color theory, shading techniques, and how to make your textures pop with a lot of personality. By the end, you will have a fully posed, game-ready character, completely optimized with hand-painted textures, ready for your portfolio, your game engine, or your own stylized universe. This is the complete pipeline. Every single step in real time. Now, if this is your first time, don't worry. We have full support available, an amazing Discord community where you can ask questions, ask for feedback, and showcase your progress. So, if you're ready to master the hand-painted style, let's bring this undead captain to life. Enroll now and start painting like a pro. There we go, my friends. There we go. So in this moment, I'm publishing the course. The course should now be live on the site. Let's get the music back on. And yeah, this is a course that I've been preparing for a long time now, because I've been making sure to study, to learn, to make sure that I got all of the right information for you, my friends. And this right here is our Flying Dutchman, the undead captain, however you want to call it. This is a stylized zombie character ready to be part of your games, your portfolio, or anything that you want. This right here is an amazing concept. When I found this concept, I just had to message Labros. Some of you guys know Labros because he was one of the judges last week. That was a little bit of a spoiler there. I wanted to include him as part of the whole thing. So we invited him to be part of the judges panels as well for the Echoes of Kaira Aurelia contest. And now, yeah, this is it. This is the full pipeline, my friends. Some of you were asking for this. This is one of the big petitions for the past couple of courses. You guys wanted to see everything. You guys wanted to see the sculpting process, the retopology process, the UV process, the baking process, the texturing process, the posing process, and the rendering process. So every single part of the process is going to be available in this course right here. We're going to be using a multitude of softwares. I am going to be very front about that, upfront. You will be needing multiple softwares. You can mix and match, so you don't necessarily need to be using the exact softwares that I'm going to be using. If you want to sculpt in Blender, if you want to do UVs in Blender, if you want to do all of the a basic process in Blender and you want to skip ZBrush, that's fine. But we will be using 3D Code quite a bit. That's one of the big courses or one of the big softwares that we're going to be using to make sure that we can get to this level of detail and the execution for the character. Let's see. Yeah, so this is it. Did you guys manage to guess? I'm sure no one was guessing this undead captain right here. That's a very big stretch. I knew you guys were gonna guess pirate because that was very obvious from the teasers, right? But yeah, getting to this point was very, very cool. So first of all, I want to give a huge, give me just 1 second here. Let me go full camera. Cool. Here, there we go. So I want to give a huge shout out, extremely huge shout out. I'm not sure if my good friend Labros is here. I did told him that we were going to have our stream right now. But Labros Paunousis, he's an amazing concept artist. He's got so much stuff. He has worked with World of Warcraft. So I knew that when we picked this concept, we were going to be picking one concept that could be used on a production. I want to make sure that the level of the project was up to the level of what the industry is looking for. And this was the project that we picked. He did this character a couple years ago, and there's so much information. He imagined him as I don't know if it's a champion for League of Legends or something like that, but there's so many variations that you could also use for your while you're doing the course. So if you want to use one of the different versions that he has right here, feel free to do that. Labros was very kind to allow us to use this concept, and yeah, make sure to go to our station, follow him, and make sure to, of course, learn a lot from what he has right here. His management of forms, design, contrast colors is just freaking amazing. So this is the character that we're going to be working. It's a low poly character, so that's another thing that I'm really proud about this course, because most of the courses that we've done so far have been, I wouldn't say heavily optimized. Sometimes we go a little bit high on the poly count. Can you guys guess how many triangles the character has? Only the character, not the full little environment that we have right here. Can you guess how many triangles we have for just the main character? No Soy Lotus, you're close. Solid Mango, you're way too high. Drachmus, you're way too low. No. So the full character, only the character right here, he's at 13,726 triangles. 14k. Okay, we're at 14k triangles just for the character. The whole scene, well, it's a little bit more because we got the little docks right there. You can see we were working on this dock. See, that was another teaser that we did last week or a couple of weeks ago. Remember we were working on this? It was on purpose. It was on purpose because I needed them for the little environment here for the character. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is the new course that we're gonna be releasing. Well, it's already released. It's there on our site, and you can check it out. It's the full process for how to create this character right here. Let's see. Yeah, you were really close, Quentin. Really close with 15k. There you go. Someone was asking how many UV maps this character has. One. It's one UV map for the whole character. So if we take the full character right around here, this one right here, it's 1K map or 4K map for all of the assets. The cape, the bags, the piranhas, the hat, the face, everything is just one single 4K map. Everything is like really, again, optimized. I actually show you, you guys remember? I show you the UV map of the character a couple of weeks ago, and some people were like, oh, it's a female character, it's this, it's that. It's everything in a single map. So the boxes, that's another map, and then the docks, it's another map, and then this one's another map. The docks are not included in the like the process. I do include the models so that you can practice with the high polys, low polys, bakes, all that kind of stuff, so you can practice your painting strategy. But remember, the docks, if you want to know how we did or model the docks, you can check them on the live streams. They're available here on the YouTube channel. It's for free. You can watch it. And the box is chapter 1. So in chapter 1, we do this box. I can guarantee by the end of chapter 1, you're going to be able to paint and texture your box in this way. And then the next couple of chapters, we go through a whole process here with the character. Real quick, is it open? Yeah, it's open. Let's go here. Captain, so that you guys can see the UVs real quick. Mr. Terrible, no, we do not have early discounts. You guys know I don't do discounts. I don't really believe in discounts. But one thing that we are going to be doing, and my good friend David here is going to help us, is, of course, we're going to have a giveaway right now. We're going to have a giveaway, and we're going to be giving away either one of these courses, if you want to start with this one right here, or any of the other ones available in the site, okay? So give me 1 second right here. Oh, I'll show you some more shots in just a second. We even include a file or an what's the word? We even include a video at the very end on how to prepare your portfolio. I'll show you the portfolio entry in just a second. Let's change this. New course. HandPainted. Are joining right here. How do you arrange your UVs? I did this inside of Maya. I literally and manually went and cleaned up all of the UVs here for the character. So this is the UV layout for the character, and as you can see, everything from the element is right here. All the belts, all the ropes, the cape, the head, hands, beard, hair, rib cage, pants, everything is here inside of the UVs, and I show you how to get this very clean arrangement as well. It's kind of like playing Tetris. And then once we bake everything, of course, you're gonna find all of the amazing hand-painted information here inside of your character. Yeah, of course, it needs to be clean. It needs to be as clean as possible. I want to make sure that whenever I'm teaching you guys something, it's to the best possible level. Yeah, we're gonna have giveaways, Juma. We don't do them live. We do them through our Discord. So David is preparing the Discord stuff right now. You need to join the Discord channel, and we're gonna have the giveaway space or the giveaway element where you're gonna be able to do that. Roju Luber, by the way, is 3D code worth it or only the 3D code texture? Great question. I would say amazing question, Roger Lober. So here's the thing. I will be using on the course, or during the course, I use 3D code for the retopology process as well. And if I had to rank them, 3D code's retopology tools are really up there. Like, I don't think they beat Topogun just yet, but right below Topogun. So my tier list is Topogun, 3D code, then Blender, then Maya. So if you have the full version of 3D code, you will be able to follow along with the retopology tools as well. If not, you can do retopology anywhere else and just use 3D Textura for the painting process. There we go. Do you have feedbacks in this course? Yes, Yuma. This is not only for this course. For any course, guys, you can reach out to me on Discord. You can send me an email. You can just DM me on Discord, and I'll be happy to help you along the process. Like if you need help with some like pointers, that's how you can do it. We are thinking, and that's something that we're planning. Hopefully, we'll release it very, very soon. But we're thinking about some sort of like workshop process where we will have live sessions with a small group of artists. But that's still on the sort of like early stages of planning. So we're trying to think on how to best generate something like that. But yeah, if you are following this course or any of the other courses and you need feedback or you need help with something, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. You can even ask questions there on the site. Does the amount of cuts an issue in game-ready characters? Yes and no. I mean, the more cuts you have, that's, yes, an extra like data thing that you need to process. But for a complex character like this one right here that you're about to see, that is, again, very, very... it has a lot of stuff, right? Like a lot of different elements. We got the piranhas, we got the eyebrows, the mustaches, and we rig everything separately. We have the harpoon, the bags, the ropes. Like there's so many things going on. It's very, very normal to have a lot of cuts. If you've ever seen like UVs for like big ships or big vehicles, you're gonna see that they have like millions of cuts. Well, not millions, but a lot of cuts. Do you use only one UV map even for small things like the boxes? No, the boxes are a separate element. So let's go here. So the boxes have their own UV map. That's a 2K map, very simple map. The docks have their own UV. This is a kit. So we do one plank, or actually 3 planks, 1 beam, and then the ropes. The ropes actually have a tileable material. You can see the material tile right there along the whole like length of the rope. And yeah, we optimize things as much as we can. Let's see. Does the amount of cuts? No, we already answered that one. Do you plan to make some course on creature design sometime? Yes. Here's the thing. Creature design is very, I wouldn't say very similar, but it has a lot of like similarities to what we see on the Oni course and the anatomy course. But yes, there's 3 courses that are on the horizon: the creature course, the female anatomy course, and the hard surface courses. Those are like the 3 sort of like next milestones. We need to decide which one we want. We might be able to do. We already had a votation a couple of days ago, so we might be using that as a guide to know which one to go for. Will the character be rigged? Yes, the character is rigged. I actually have the rig right here. I can show it. Where is it? Assets. Now, one thing, little disclaimer here: the rigging that we do for this character is not a game-ready rig. This is a rig that we do just to pose the character. It could potentially be extrapolated and used for rigging later, but this is not specifically a rig, a character for games rig. It's a rig again to. Where is it? Open recents. Files. There we go. So this is the rigged version of the character, and as you can see, we can grab the arms, for instance, and move it around. We can grab the head, move it around. Okay, so I show you how to do this, how to like rig the basic like bone structure, a little bit of the rigging principles, so that you can pose this character in whatever way you want. We can move the mustaches there, for instance. So yeah, there's a little bit of everything, guys, in this course. A little bit of everything. Where should I click for the giveaways? Always having a terrifying finding them. Yeah, let me show you real quick. Let's go full camera here. So you're gonna go to the Discord channel. So you're gonna go to the Discord channel, and then on the Discord channel, right around here, there's the here on the notice board, there's the events channel, and here's where you can click on the little party popper thingy, and on that party popper thing here, you can participate to win something. Arindom Kalita, yes, this is hand painted, my friend. This is indeed hand painted. We use a bunch of different processes that are used on the industry. Some of it's like traditionally hand painted. Some of it we use gradient maps. Some of it we use bakes and other like projection things. But like the main thing about this course is the sculpting, the stylized sculpting part. It's, I would say, like a third of the course, and then all of the preparation, and finally this one right here. And yes, that one 3D artist, we just announced a course. Let's go real quick for the trailer again before we start with our activity for today, okay? So for those of you that missed the trailer, here it is. What if you could create a stylized 3D character? fully sculpted, hand-painted, and game-ready, just like the ones in your favorite games. In this course, I'll take you step by step through the full production of this undead pirate captain. Concept is by the amazing Labros Paunousis, who knows exactly what is needed to create an amazing character design. We will be sculpting the high poly in ZBrush. We will retopologize it, prepare the UVs, bake, and then the part that everyone loves. We dive directly into hand painting our character. We will cover color theory, shading techniques, and how to make your textures pop with a lot of personality. By the end, you will have a fully posed, game-ready character, completely optimized with hand-painted textures, ready for your portfolio, your game engine, or your own stylized universe. This is the complete pipeline. Every single step in real time. Now, if this is your first time, don't worry. We have full support available, an amazing Discord community where you can ask questions, ask for feedback, and showcase your progress. So, if you're ready to master the hand-painted style, let's bring this undead captain to life. Enroll now and start painting like a pro. There we go. So yeah, that's right, guys. Yeah, flip kicks. I totally agree with what you're saying right there. Hand painted style is so cool, and it's so timeless. You can see this 20 years in the future and it's gonna look amazing, right? So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this style. It's one of my favorite styles. It's so fun to paint. Like, it's so relaxing to just be on 3D code and painting. We're gonna be doing that in just a second, by the way, because one thing that what's the word? One thing that I noticed, or that I was trying to capture, was the magic thing, and Mango is asking about that. How would one do the aura in the concept? That's definitely some sort of BFX. It would be some sort of BFX for our character, and since I'm not a BFX artist, then I couldn't really find a way. I did this little thing right here, just a little bit of a magic thing, but then I thought, what else could we use? What else could this pirate be looking for? And that's why I came up with this sort of like crystal thing. So we're going to be going through this today. We're going to be doing a little bit of hand painting process here with the element. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going from there. Juma says, what a sexy look you put on when the video course starts. Thanks, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to entice you to watch the whole trailer. Goody says, hey, if this wasn't a tutorial, how much rating out of 10 would you give this piece of a portfolio? This one right here, I mean, it's very difficult for me to give myself a score, but what score would you give it? I think it's really like tightly done. Like, I'm really proud of this piece right here. I'm actually, let me show it to you, because I was going to turn on my portfolio right now. Not every piece, and that's a great question actually, Goody. Not every piece that I do for a course ends up in my portfolio, because some of the pieces that I do are more for educational purposes. They're like, hey, I did this, here's how you do the process, here's how you work with it, right? But this one in particular, I really liked it. So let me go here to the portfolio page to show it to you guys. Right here. So this is the portfolio page that I prepare for the character. I show some of the steps: high poly sculpt, the wireframe, UVs, gradients, hand painted, on-lit material. And yeah, someone is mentioning here, this absolutely has nothing on the normal map. Everything is on the color map. There's no lights. There's absolutely no lights with this whole thing. So I've prepared this whole thing. This is ready. So let's just publish it right now. Let's just publish it here on my portfolio, and yeah, it's I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy. Thank you for those who are saying that it's a 10 out of 10. There's of course always things to improve. One of the things that you need to know as an artist is that every single time you finish a project, you're gonna start noticing things just like, oh, I could have changed this, I could modify this, I want to change this, I want to improve this thing right here. But you should always feel proud about what you're doing, right? So yeah, it's up there on my portfolio. I was particularly happy with this thing right here. I did this sort of like Kraken motif. This was not on the concept, but I felt like the cape was feeling a little bit flat. So I added that nice sort of like blended thing right there. And yeah, this is the new course, my friend, the 11th course. How much sculpting versus polymodeling is used for the modeling phase? I can show you. I can show you that right now. So let me show you. This is the final C tool. So after the first couple of chapters for the modeling of the character, this is what we end up with. All high. As you can see, there's a lot of things that are missing on this one, right? Like, there's a lot of extra details that we directly paint on the character. But we do need to have a relatively clean sculpt for the character before we do the whole thing. One thing that I loved about the concept was this part right here. Like the fact that we have the ribcage sort of like isolated and we can see through the character when he doesn't have the cape. I think that was pretty cool. Let's see. As someone who's starting out working on portfolio elements, can I add this exact project on my portfolio after completing it, even though it's a tutorial? Oh, that's a great question, Michelle. That's a great question. So my personal opinion about tutorials as portfolio pieces is that you should try to avoid them. Why? Because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to do them, and the original one was already done, in this case by me. But even if you're following someone else's tutorial, they've already done it. So unless you can really do a really good job, and usually when you're first learning, that might not be the case, it's better if you try to use the techniques that you learn with the portfolio on a different piece. So what would be my advice? Do the tutorial. Get the course, follow it, complete it, do your character. If you want to upload it to your portfolio, fine. It's okay. But once you have the skills, once you understand the process, go back to ArtStation, for instance. You could even go back to Labros's, of course, concepts, and he has so many other cool concepts that you could use. For instance, this was another one of the runner-ups that we were thinking about. You can use all of the things that you learned from the portfolio or from the course and do this one right here, okay? And that's way more valuable because you are going to have to troubleshoot, you're going to have to solve certain issues, you're going to have to find a way to make it yours, to incorporate all of the techniques and the tools that you learn into a new piece, right? That is what really says to me, hey, this artist really knows how to troubleshoot. He doesn't need to be following or being giving directions all the time. And that, again, is it's a very valuable thing for an artist to have. Bunch of Bones, have you put the link up? This looks great. Yeah, it should be on the site already. Let me check real quick to make sure it's there. But it should be there already. Yep, it's right there. Right there on the top of the site. So you can check the site and you're gonna find it real quick. David's gonna link the site in case you haven't seen it. And it should be on the description as well on YouTube if you're following there. So yeah, the course is there. It's I think this is the most, again, like full course in terms of the pipeline because we include everything, but yeah, I think you guys are gonna really enjoy it, and I can't wait to see the amazing things that you're gonna be doing. Yeah, the thumbnail is good, right? Yeah, I know. I've been improving as well, guys. As a content creator, I've been learning and I've been improving about this whole thing. So yeah, I really like the thumbnail. I think the thumbnail was chef's kiss. Really good. And one huge shout out here to Alan, who's on the stream. Alan is our new editor here on the team. He's been helping us a lot with the shorts, with the contest, and with the course. He helped us with the edition of the course. And one thing that he did, he really took one for the team. He got and did all of the subtitles for the course. So I'm happy to announce that the course is completely subtitled in English, of course. So if English is not your first language, like in my case, English is not my first language either. But if this is what you want to learn and you struggle a little bit with English, all of the videos should be subtitled so that you can follow along. So yeah, thank you, Alan, for that, because that was like a last minute call. Like we did that in the past 2 days. It's like, I'll do the subtitles, and he just went to town for that. So awesome there, Alan. Thank you very much. What is the amount of time that a mid or senior artist can finish something like that? Well, it took me, I would say, in terms of hours, like actual hours, like if I had to count every single hour I was in front of the computer doing the whole process, it was probably like 60 hours. Give or take, maybe 60, 80 hours. So you should be able to do a character like this, like a full character, with all of the feedback and like changes and things like that. I would say in a month. A month should be a good amount of time. But if you're learning, I can already tell you, it's gonna take you longer. Like the first time I did a full hand-painted character, it took me like 2 months or like 10 weeks or something like that. So it's definitely something that takes a little bit more. It really depends on how much time you are effectively dedicating to the character every single day, because it's not the same thing. And let's be honest with it, guys. I'm going to go full camera here to call some of you ones out, because it's not the same thing to say, yeah, I'm working on a character, and from your 10 days or 10 hours per day, you spend 6 hours on Facebook and 2 hours on Reddit and 1 hour on Gmail or whatever. Like, you're not really working. Like, yes, you're in front of your computer and you are working, but how many of those hours are actually effective working towards your goal? That's a whole different story, right? So if you really dedicate, no distractions, and you focus specifically on what you want to do, then yeah, I could potentially see someone following this course to be able to finish it in a month. Like if you watch a couple of hours every day and you do them, you should be able to do it. Let's see, 60 hours. Yeah, it was a complex character. Every step of the process is recorded. There's a couple of like jumps. For instance, when we're sculpting the hand, I show you how to do one finger, and then I show you how to duplicate the finger and do everything else. When we're doing retopology, I show you how to do retopology for one finger, and then we do all of the other fingers, right? Like not every single step is recorded because it would be like just like a waste of time for everyone, but everything is right there. Let's see. Do we got any more questions? Gotta admit it was hard keeping the secret. You guys, yeah. Yeah, right, Alan? Like, we've been working on this course for, like, at least the editing and all that stuff for, like, the past 6 weeks. And we've been bouncing around the concepts, like, finding the best thumbnail, making sure that everything flows nicely. It was really interesting. What's the best way to ask permission to use an artwork for 3D modeling? Email or DM? I like to DM. I do send emails, but a lot of people don't check their emails nowadays. So just DM. Like Labros, I just DM'd him, and he was super kind to answer back. You didn't have to call me out like that, right, Sufam? I know. We tend to be very... we lie to ourselves quite a bit. We say that we're working when in reality we're not working. One of my sins is playing chess and getting distracted by chess. So I understand. Yes, most of the course is going to be done inside of 3D Code. We use ZBrush, or I use ZBrush for the sculpting process. You can use Blender for the sculpting process. You can even use 3D Code for the sculpting process. It also has some really strong tools for sculpting. So you can totally follow along with this one, because the principles, this is not even though we sculpt, it's not precisely a sculpting course. You need to already have like the basic understanding of how digital sculpting works. So otherwise, you're not going to be able to follow. If you want to learn sculpting, if you've never done sculpting before, then I recommend taking the Oni course first. But yeah, 3D Code is like it has all of the different like areas right here. So you can do modeling, you can do 3D print, photogrammetry, rendering, sculpting. You can do PBR texturing as well. We might be exploring some of the tools here from 3D Code soon. But yeah, so this is the 3D Code element. I actually think, do I have? Yeah, there you go. So, because this is a question that I get asked often, is like, can't you do the same thing with just Substance Painter? This is the result that I got from Substance Painter, which is not bad. Like, it could totally be passable, right, for some types of like compositions. But this is not as polished as what you can get when you actually get in there and start doing the actual painting, right? So all of these layers that we have right here, look at the difference, right? Like that's just Substance Painter, some basic like layers and things like that, and then boom, we add all of the information, color correction, details, like all of the information here with the character. And all of these layers are just layers that I was using to make sure that everything was looking fine. This layer right here, super important layer. We're going to be using this layer quite a bit. This is the value check layer that allows us to see things in black and white, because it's a lot easier to understand things in black and white than it is to do it with color. And this allows you to really see where we want to be positioning all of the different information. Is this the arm from the anatomy stream? No, but I was practicing arms on that stream because I was about to do the arms for this character. So that's a little bit of a secret. Sometimes I use the streams to either create certain things for the courses or to get acquainted with some of the tools and just practice and get my mind fresh. One thing that you might remember from some of the streams, my friend, is this one right here. This dock, we did this dock on the stream. And this is the amazing thing. Look at this. Like, I can just start duplicating this dock. And if this was like an environment inside of Unreal or whatever, I could just like build my whole little city with this thing right here. And since it's so lightweight, because it's just a texture map, like there's absolutely no other information, you can just keep going. This is how they do it. They build kits and then they just reuse those kits for all of the different assets. How did I pose this? I used a combination of an extra software called Accurig, and then inside of Maya, I did my own skeleton for all of the different assets that I needed to include. And then I show you, and this is in the course, I show you how to do the weight painting, how to do blending, how to do controllers, how to do constraints, all that kind of stuff to make it so that it works this way. Do you know an efficient workflow to make different color sets fast? For this character? Actually, yes. Let me show you how we could do, for instance, let's say we are going to do, what, like a purple character? You guys want to do a purple character? Give me a color. Pick a color. Like, what would be another color for this character right here? Show you how this works. File. Green. Come on, Ryu Lover. Come on. No. Yeah, I was thinking pink as well. I was definitely thinking pink. Think sounds fun. Do we need to know the basics of 3D code? No, you don't need the basics of 3D code. Chapter 1, we cover the basics of 3D code. Actually, if you go to the site, as always, I include some free lessons so that you can check the way I teach and the flow of things. So in Chapter 1, that's Introduction to 3D code. So the first couple of videos are completely free. And then we jump into the creation of the box, where we do we start exploring all of the tools. On the Retopology chapter, we explore the tools of the Retopology tool, or we explore the Retopology tools inside of 3D code. So no, you don't need to know 3D code. That's the one software that you don't need to have any knowledge about, because we're going to be covering everything throughout this course. There is Photoshop. There we go. So this right here is the texture map for our character. And there's a very cool map. We, of course, go over how to create this one, called this one, the ID map. You guys have seen this ID map. I've talked about the ID map before. And the reason why the ID map is so important is because I can very quickly, I can just go here, select color range, for instance, color range, grab this color, there we go. So all of that color that I just grabbed, that's part of the skin. Not all of the skin, because some of the legs are not included here, but most of the torso and the arms and the hands, this is it right here. So what I can do now, since I have that selection done, is I can add a new layer, or let's go, where's the, because I don't want to do, I'm trying to think how to do this right here. I think I'm going to have to combine all of these layers. That's fine. We'll just save this as a different file. There we go. So I'm going to combine all of these layers. So all of these layers now include the information. If I go to these layers now, I can press Control U to go into hue and saturation, and I can change the saturation and or the hue, sorry, of that element right there. And we can go to the pink colors, something like that. Of course, we might need to play a little bit with these elements right here, with the lightness and things like that. Hit OK. And if I hit save now, what's going to happen is it's going to send the information back into 3D code, and boom. This is a very quick and dirty way to do it. I would not do it this way for a game, because there's other tones and colors that you want to incorporate, but it should at least give you a basic like understanding on how to get it there. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, ID maps are super, super important. Would you recommend actions in Photoshop to make quick color sets of any quantity? Yeah, that could work. That could totally work, Topi. Definitely an important thing. Let's see. Turquoise premium. Anthony, question? Maybe a tricky question. One day a teacher told me, when you're a 3D modeler, you're not an artist, more like an executioner. What's the difference between artists and just someone who executes the concepts on 3D? Oh, that's a... Yeah, I don't like to trash talk about other teachers, because I know everyone has their own opinion, and of course everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but it's a very hot take to say. Like, I would say, of course, you're a 3D artist. First of all, like, if you're a 3D modeler, of course you're a 3D artist, because an artist takes an idea and makes it different, makes it like you incorporate some of your stuff into that idea, right? So like you're definitely an artist. I'm not sure why he would be calling you that way. Let me close and not save. But other than that, I guess I understand what he's saying, and what he says is that usually in a production, as a modeler, you're not going to have as much creative input, right? Like normally you get a concept and your job is to make that concept work. So if he means that, yeah, sure, you don't usually have as much creative freedom, but you're still an artist, because at any point you could do your own stuff, as someone else was mentioning right here. So yeah, when are the giveaways announced? I'm not sure how much time we're left, but probably like a couple of minutes for the first one. Do we need to know the basics of 3D code before starting this? No. I teach the basics of 3D code on this course. It's not just a 3D code course, but it's mainly a 3D code course, because we do use a lot of tools from it. Become Emreal says, also fun thing about 3D code is that the live link doesn't have to be with Photoshop. Yes, that's correct. I actually use Krita on the first chapter. So if you don't have Photoshop and you still want to do the thing that I just did, where you link the image to a 2D image software, you can do that with another one. I do explain that on the course as well. Is Blizzard using code or Substance? As far as I know from some of my contacts there, they do use 3D code. Some artists might use Photoshop. Some even use like 3D Designer and things like that. So I do believe most traditional hand-painted artists still use 3D code. And the reason is, and you're going to see this when you try it, it feels amazing. It's very, I'm not sure if it's a subjective thing, but the way the brushes work, they work very, very nicely. The brushes inside of 3D Substance, Painter, I don't like how they work. You could potentially use Substance, but I just don't like the way they feel, the way they work. And with 3D Code, it feels very, very nice. Do you have any advice that we can use to practice sculpting stylized folds? I'm a newbie and feel this pretty hard. I don't have one right now, but we can talk about that later. Another video, Haidang. Riot uses 3D Code. Yes, that's right, David Dolce Mascolo. Yeah, 3D Code is used quite a bit. And they have a very nice pricing policy where you can pay to own. So you pay like monthly submissions or monthly quotes. And after a while, you own the software. So that's pretty cool. MC Nac Media says, hey, the new course looks great. Can't wait to dive into this one. You've mentioned that you offer one-on-one mentorships. Can you elaborate on how we can work with you? Yes. So you can DM me, Mac and Media, on the Discord, and I can share that with you. They're one-on-one sessions. They're usually 1 hour long, usually in the early morning, on the late afternoon. And we go over processes, portfolio review, techniques, like anything that you might need. I give you homework. We keep in touch on Discord, give you feedback. That's usually the way it works. And right now, we have a 55 USD price for that whole thing. Watch broke. So, well, the little strap. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me, send me a message on Discord, and I can send all of the information about the mentorships. I don't have a lot of available spots right now. Like right now, I think I just have 1 spot per week available because all of the other ones are already filled. But yeah, you can send me, or I can send you more information there. You increase the price from the mentorship? No. It's been 55, man. 55 for a while. Let's see. What about Mari? Mari is good as well, but it's a different process. It's a different projector. Yes, Skip says, awesome course. Was there a reason you didn't do the UVs in 3D Code as well? Yes, mainly because of how comfortable I feel doing them inside of Maya. That was the main reason. But if you already use 3D Code and you want to do the UVs there, go for it. I tried Affinity package and it's really good, but Adobe just feels more like home. Yeah, Adobe. I mean, yeah. I don't agree with a lot of the pricing things that I've done, but it's the standard for a reason. Like, I don't see myself ever dropping Substance Painter, for instance. It's such an amazing software. Rapidly Fast says, finally caught your stream. Sorry if I missed it, but what's this course about? Well, let's do the trailer one more time. There we go. Let's do the trailer one more time, and then we'll jump onto the exercise, okay? Here we go. What if you could create a stylized 3D character? Fully sculpted, hand-painted, and game-ready, just like the ones in your favorite games. In this course, I'll take you step by step through the full production of this undead pirate captain. Concept is by the amazing Labros Paunousis, who knows exactly what is needed to create an amazing character design. We will be sculpting the high poly in ZBrush. We will retopologize it, prepare the UVs, bake, and then the part that everyone loves. We dive directly into hand painting our character. We will cover color theory, shading techniques, and how to make your textures pop with a lot of personality. By the end, you will have a fully posed, game-ready character, completely optimized with hand-painted textures, ready for your portfolio, your game engine, or your own stylized universe. This is the complete pipeline. Every single step in real time. Now, if this is your first time, don't worry. We have full support available, an amazing Discord community where you can ask questions, ask for feedback, and showcase your progress. So, if you're ready to master the hand-painted style, let's bring this undead captain to life. Enroll now and start painting like a pro. There we go. So that's the announcement, Rapidly Fast. And for some reason, I forgot to activate the music again. So there we go. We got the background music now. So yeah, this is the character. Now, well, we have the winner, right? Yeah, the winner. So the winner for the first giveaway is... Oh, it's in a minute. Oh, David, you scared me. I thought I missed it. We're about to have the first winner. For whoever wins this one, you can get any premium course from the site. If you want to get this one, you're free to select that one. But if you want to get some of the other ones, maybe you're just starting your 3D journey and you feel more comfortable starting with something like the Oni course or like the Anatomy course, feel free to pick that one as well. We're going to have the winner in 5, 4, 3, 2... 1, and the winner for the first giveaway for today is... Oh my god, I hate when this happens. Give me 1 second. I can't see it. What's the name of this guy? I'm in a streamer mode. Why can I disable streamer mode? Well, that guy. Can someone tag the name here? David, can you tag the name? Congratulations to my friend with the little Jeff thing. Just for word. There you go. Just for word. Thank you, thank you. Just for word, congratulations, my friend, on winning the first giveaway for today. I will be contacting you after the stream so that you can tell me which course you want, and I'll be more than happy to enroll it to it or give you the code if it's the first time you're joining the site, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it for the first winner. So, as I was mentioning, when I was finishing this character, I wanted to add something else, and I thought about this, like this gemstone or crystal or something like that, okay? And this is the one that we're going to be doing, but we do need to go through the retopology phase. This is pretty much our high poly element. So what I'm going to do here, you guys already know, we are going to, of course, decimate this so that we can take this into Maya. We are going to decimate. I'm just going to do one of the presets. 150k should be more than enough for this thing right here. Yeah, Tsuru, it's on the events section on Discord. So you join the Discord channel and then you go here, and on the notice board, you go to the events tab, and there on the events tab, you're gonna see the little thing. We're gonna have 2 more giveaways today. So make sure to join the Discord and jump in there to be part of the giveaway. Good Fortune says, very cool course concept. I was looking forward to a 3D code course, hand painting stuff. Well, there you go, my friend. It's available now. Feel free to check it out. I'm really proud. You guys want me to share another one? Well, not another one, but I can share. Nah, maybe later. Maybe later. I'll show you. I have another character that I did, another hand-painted character that I did before this one, and it's not finished just yet. It needs a little bit more polish. It's already on my portfolio, but I kind of want to go back to it and just like clean it up a little bit more. But I'll show it later. Let's focus on the crystal for now. So this thing is decimated. Let's do a quick go-see to go directly into Maya for the retopology process. No, it's not a leak. That's a personal like piece that I did. It's not for any course. It's not for anything. It's just a character that I did. Is it okay if you do a quick talk about color theory right now or in the course? In the course, I do talk a lot about color theory. You can ask Alan. Full chapter 1 is a lot of information about color theory. But if you have any questions about it right now, I can definitely explain some color theory. I will be explaining some information for this thing as we get into the painting stuff. Random question. How do you tackle bad references or a reference that doesn't make sense? That's a great question, actually. When I have a bad reference, I always follow what I call the path of least resistance. Similar to like electricity or water, is like, what is the easiest, most simple way to get out of this situation, right? Like, for instance, let's say the character has a couple of belts, but they don't make any sense. And the normal sense would be for the belt to follow a specific loop around the character. I just do that. I just do what feels the most natural and what feels the most realistic and accurate to the real world like situation. Even if it goes against the concept, because it just makes more sense the way we're like solving it. And more often than not, the client or your art director will be like, yeah, that's fine. Like the concept was wrong. Because it's very common, well, not very common, but especially because concept artists need to do so many like drawings and options every time. It's sometimes like there are things that are not perfect, right? So it's again, I don't want to say it's like a mandatory for something to be like wrong or whatever, but it's common for things to be a little bit weird on the concept. Let's assign the material. There we go. So this is our element. Let's go back to, I need to change this to not flatlining. There we go. So we can actually see what's going on. And we need to retopologize this thing, right? Actually, let me open a new scene. Just open a new scene and let's go see again. Mohammad Solati, I'm always late. No, a wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. That should be your quote, my friend. Now, don't say you're late. Don't worry. All of this is gonna be here on the channel. You can watch it later, and we're just starting with the exercise. We just had the announcement of the new course. You can, of course, go back and check it. I'm gonna enable the trailer a little bit later today, but yeah. Let's see. What am I missing? I think I answered the reference question, right? My friends are developing a sci-fi game and asked me to make some props. I have not modeled props for games before. What research should I do? I would recommend that you do research for optimization. How to optimize things so that they're not extremely heavy. And that has to do with retopology, for instance. So if you really know how to model something and make the high poly look amazing, make sure you know how to properly optimize it for games. I would say that's like the main thing that I see people struggling with on the current, like my students and stuff like that. So this one's very fun because since this object is not going to be deforming, we can go quite crazy with the topology. Like we don't really need to have like super clean like edge loops or anything. The most important thing that I want to capture on this one is the silhouette, right? So I want to make sure that this rock right here has a very clean silhouette, and all of the planes that I'm seeing right here are properly or as closely captured as possible. Now let's give ourselves a budget. Let's say that the maximum amount of triangles that we can have for this thing right here is going to be something like 1,000. I think like 1,000 points, and that's even like too much, I would say. Like maybe 500 points should be more than enough for something like this. So yeah, as you can see right here, I'm just adding points with my Quadro tool, and I'm just trying to find all of the elements or all of the places where we can simplify those points. If I see an area like that one that could be simplified with just like a collapse right there, I'm just gonna collapse. That's one of the things. I was looking at a reference, or someone on Reddit was discussing this, because a user submitted a piece for review. Some people were like, I think he was doing some retopology or something like that, and some people were bashing him because he was going or trying to optimize things too much. And they were like, oh, nowadays you don't need to optimize that heavily. You can go really, really high, and it doesn't matter because we have nanite, and the engines can handle like millions of polygons. And yeah, they're right. But just because an engine can handle millions of polygons doesn't mean that you need to use millions of polygons. It still needs to handle them. It still needs to think about those. So optimization is, I would say, quite important. And a lot of people have been sort of like throwing that out of the window in a lot of portfolio reviews that I've done in the past year as well. So yeah, I know the tools nowadays are way stronger, and we can potentially get away with more polygons. But knowing how to optimize is still valuable. Very valuable. There's a lot of games, mobile games, League of Legends again, World of Warcraft, where optimization is important. And the reason why it is important is because there's so many players at the same time, so many assets, that if you don't optimize, there will be a hit on the performance. Another reason why this is important, and you guys might remember this statement from Riot. I'm not sure if it's an official statement, but at least that's what people say about it, is that League of Legends got very famous everywhere because it could technically be run in a freaking toaster. It's like very optimized in terms of performance for textures and things like that, because everything is hand painted. Yes, I know that the code is not great for the interaction of some of the abilities and things like that, but in terms of like the artistic side of things, it's really well optimized. So if you're developing a game and you want more people to be able to enjoy your game, even people with older systems, then thinking or keeping optimization in mind is a really good way to include that, let's say, population in your possible like target demographic. So another sort of like entrepreneurial thing that you can think about. Hey, the triangles, let's take the torches and no. This asset, again, as I mentioned, this is such a simple asset that I don't even need to think about this. I'm just like filling in the silhouette. I just need to make sure that I capture most of the important silhouette points, and if I do that, we're good. Like, I know it looks horrible, or it might look very horrible, but again, it's the silhouette that we care about. This thing is not gonna bend, this thing is not gonna deform, it's not gonna twist, it's not gonna do anything like that. People on the Maya Reddit are brutal. Yeah, they're brutal, but here's the thing, there's also a lot of negativity there, unfortunately. Like, I like to check the posts every now and then, but I can definitely see a sort of like a negative aura going on there. So my advice is don't be in toxic communities. I'm not saying that's a toxic community. I'm just saying, like, the world's already a very difficult place. So you're doing no one a favor by going into, or by being part of toxic communities, or like not helping yourself. Oh, there we go. When you optimize things, stars is an inconvenient? Usually, yes. But again, for this one, like that point looks horrible to me. Like, I hate those kind of points, right? Like, it's one vertex sharing so many lines right there. But in this particular case, it really doesn't matter that much. If I want to solve this thing right here, like, the easiest way to solve this would be to just, like, open up a little bit of a border, like a little bit of an edge loop right there, right? So now that's just one point with 5 lines. And by doing that, I make it look a little bit nicer, but the problem is I increase the poly count, right? Like, my poly count has just gone a little bit up, and that might not be ideal for certain situations. Again, in this case, really doesn't matter. There you go. There. Usually, I like to keep small triangles. So, for instance, there, right? Like, I know that we're going to have a triangle because we don't have enough faces, and I don't want to add extra edge loops. I could do this, but I'm going to have a very long triangle right there. I prefer to do it this way so that I have a small triangle up here. Pretty much the exact same silhouette with less of a problem with the whole thing. What controls do you have on your stylus when you're texturing in 3D Code or sculpting in ZBrush? Very simple, man. Like, one of the buttons is middle mouse button, and the other one is right click. That's it. Like, I don't have anything special. I recently got the new tablet, the Canvas 16, and it has this new button that has like extra things that you can add, but I haven't really used it, to be honest. So I keep it very simple. Middle mouse and right click. I prefer to use keyboard shortcuts. Nunca entrei no sou ready do Maya. Oh, you can write in Portuguese. I can read Portuguese, and I can understand it. Spanish and Portuguese are really similar. No Soy Lotus says, Abe, I feel a little bit afraid of the future as a 3D artist student here in Mexico. Any advice to a Mexican from another? Yes. But it's not an advice that's going to be easy to handle. Are you ready? Are you ready for some hard truths? Let me know if you're ready for some hard truths, because otherwise I don't want to bring the mood down today. It's not bad news. It's not bad news, but it's definitely something that it's, how do they say, like a tough pill to swallow, right? I think that's the usual way that they phrase that particular feeling. So, there is no gaming industry here in Mexico. That's the reality of things. The biggest studios that we have here in Mexico are actually outsourced studios. So you're going to be doing relatively simple, not always, there's some complex stuff, of course, but you're going to be working for bigger studios, helping them with the jobs that, or the parts of the jobs that they don't want to do, usually, or where they want to pay for a little bit cheaper than what they do on the US or in Europe or in Canada. So a lot of the big studios here in Mexico that do 3D for games are outsourced studios. One of the big ones is CGBot. You probably have heard of that one in Monterrey, right? I actually worked there when I first started like 12 years ago. So there is that kind of stuff here in Mexico. Like that kind of work you will find here in Mexico. And if you like that kind of work, awesome. Because again, there are opportunities around that kind of stuff. If you want to do your own sort of things, if you want to do your own games, then you're going to fall into more of the indie side of things. You remember Mulaka from a couple of years ago? That's the kind of like stuff that you might be doing because there's not enough resources. There's not enough investment to be doing like a AAA game. There was a very famous game a couple of years ago here in Mexico, a bad game called Mictlan. It was supposed to be like a mythical sort of like, I'm not sure if it was like a Dark Souls kind of game. Like I don't even remember the gameplay, but they made a huge campaign about making this a scam. Yeah, it was a scam. This game and how much they were gonna invest and things like that. At the end, it was just a scam. Like people worked for free on that thing, and then nothing happened. And the person that was sort of like doing it apparently ran away with a lot of money. I'm not sure. Like I'm not gonna do or give my opinion about what happened at the end because I was not. I was roughly part of that because I was part of the mentoring part. Like in one school that I was working at the time, some of the students were working on that game as parts of like insurance, and I was helping them to make sure that their assets were clean and stuff like that. So I guess I was relatively involved right there, but unfortunately, yeah, someone mentioned here that game was a complete scam. So that's the problem. Like, in order to make a AAA game, you guys have seen how big the budgets need to be, and it's important that you understand that if you want to do that kind of stuff, and this is the first big news or hard truth to swallow, you need to move to where they make those games. Like, Blizzard is not gonna call you and be like, "Hey, Lotus, we saw your portfolio. Do you want to work remote from your home on our new biggest project, doing the main hero?" That's never gonna happen. That's not how it works. So you're gonna have to move. If you have the possibility to move to Canada, to the US, of course, once you have an offer, right? Like don't do it blindly. But if you had that opportunity, then that's gonna get you closer to those kinds of projects. The other way you can get there is you start building your portfolio, you start building your presence online, and maybe eventually, I'm talking 10 years, 15 years, 20 years maybe, you might get a call and be like, "Oh, we've seen your work, we followed you in your journey, and now we want to bring you into the team," right? Otherwise, one more thing that I can say, No Soy Lotus, is that there is a lot of work here in Mexico regarding 3D, but not all of it is games. I personally don't mind. I do a lot of crazy stuff. As you guys know, we do museum stuff. We've done manufacturing industries. We've done architectural renderers. Like, we've done a little bit of everything. We use the exact same tools. We use the exact same workflows. We get paid. So I'm happy. I'm happy following that sort of like process. Some people don't like that. If you're one of those people, then just keep in mind that how the situation is sort of like happening, okay? Cool. So we got the crystal ready here. There you go, 164 triangles. That's perfect. And as you can see, we got a relatively clean silhouette. I really like it. Like we got a nice Nice effect right there. I'm going to just go mesh display and soften edge to give myself an idea. Yeah, that looks good. So let's do UVs. Let's see. Yeah, this is similar in every country, Game Day Sam. Especially, again, if you're not in the big countries, right? Like if you're not in a main country in Europe, I'm talking France, I'm talking Germany, I'm talking the UK. If you're not in the US and in an important area of the US, because you could be in the US, but you're, I don't know, in Iowa. Well, there's probably not going to be any game studios in Iowa. Most of it is farms and manufacturing, right? So the location of where you are, the geographical location, is quite important. The good news on that sense, or the good news in that particular like situation, is that now we have this. Like, look at me, I'm in Mexico, and you guys are all over the world, and we're enjoying 3D, and we're making awesome stuff. So we do have the ability to work remote. But again, you're not usually going to be getting remote jobs on the big companies because they keep things very secret. They don't want to have any risks. They want to have people under their supervision so that they can control all of the like processes. So you might be going or doing more of again, indie stuff, AA, like single A. Like there's a lot of projects out there that might be able to employ you, give you enough to make a living, even though you're going to be working remote. Okay. Why do the hard edges look blackish after applying soft edge? Because it's trying to soften, it's trying to smooth the element, and since it's very low poly, it's not letting it. I don't really care for this particular one because we're going to be using flat lighting, so there's not going to be any normal information, so it really doesn't matter as much, but we could go to some edges and harden them if we need to. Gaming industry is dead in the water right now, let alone being outside of where the big companies are located. Exactly, but again, not being like a pessimistic. I know you're not a pessimistic, Casey, but just to make sure that there's no obvious feeling of, oh, this is worthless or whatever. There are so many other things that you can do really that follow the exact same processes, and there's money to be made on those. Have you seen how much money kids shows make on freaking YouTube? Like Baby Shark and that stuff. My kid, she's 4 years old. She loves that kind of stuff. And I see the quality of the 3D that you see on those shows. It's not like freaking amazing quality that we see in Blur's cinematics. Like, it's very, very simple. And the amount of money that those shows make, it's like stupidly high. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of like views and ads and things like those things have. It's just like, wow. So what I recommend is if you can find a job in those industries and you can get paid well, pay your bills, live a happy life, and then on your free time work on your passion projects, work on a little game with your friends, do your own like statues or figures or whatever, I would be happy with that. I would be totally happy with that. So yeah, that makes me think a small course of preparation of model for 3D print would be cool. Quentin, have you been living under a rock, man? We already have that. So that's the anatomy course. On the anatomy course, we do this character, Duncan, and we 3D print him. 1/4 scale, so really, really big. It's like 45 centimeters. so yeah, we already have that, my friend. We already have a course exactly on how to prepare your prints for 3D print. That's another like job opportunity. I know a lot of people who sell their statues on Patreon, on Gumroad, and things like that. So yeah. Let's see. Seraphine has a question. Says, hey, Ave, on the new course, dude, could you clarify in the course what exactly can 3D code do that Marmo can't? Marmo is for rendering. I do use Marmoset during the course for the baking process. I also do the bakes in Substance in case you guys don't have Marmoset. But Marmoset is for viewing. So the presentation that we can do here, some of the, you know, like options, some of the filters and things like that. I use Marmoset mainly for presentation. I don't use it for hand painted because the way the brushes work, both in Marmoset and in Substance Painter, feel really different to how they work in Photoshop and in 3D Code. So that's why 3D Code is king in hand painted stuff. What shader do you use when sculpting in ZBrush? Just a basic gray shader. Basic shader. Okay, so let's do UVs real quick here. I'm just gonna do a camera-based mapping. And since this is a crystal, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut 2/2 of the crystal, and I'm going to try to go through one of the like the borders here, like follow one of the edges right there, trying to keep half of the crystal on one side and the other half on the other side. So we're going to probably cross in this direction here. Here, there we go. Should be more than enough. There's gonna be a little bit of distortion, but it shouldn't be that bad. So Control U and Control L. Awesome. As you can see, we're occupying a good chunk of the UV, so we're not really wasting any space. That's great. And we're ready to go to the next stage. What's the next stage, guys? That's UVs. Like, I'm not sure why people are so scared about UVs. Know why they do that. You can do texture work in Armory. I don't use Armory. Let's see. Grind and keep doing what you love will get you far in skill and in knowledge. Agree. Where is the cooking tutorial? What could I teach you? Like, is there a specific dish that I cook? Oh, there's a very good hamburger that I make. I haven't made it in a long time, but I follow my own sort of like preparation, you know, my own spices, a specific type of bread, some nice condiments. I could do the hamburger. A good hamburger. Let's see. Do a baby shark, do sculpting realistic style. I actually, I'm working with a student, and he's doing like a humanoid like shark. It's working quite nice. Oh, pozolito. I don't know how to make pozole, but yeah, pozole, so tasty. What's your favorite 3D animated movie? Oh, that's a good question. What is my favorite 3D? Trying to think, man. You really put me on the spot there. Trying to think. Like 3D, yeah, 3D animator, right? Or 2D. No, not Spider-Verse. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but not Spider-Verse. I really liked Soul Picture a couple years ago. That was really eye-opening. Like, message and everything was really freaking good. How to Train Your Dragon was also amazing. Trying to think of a picture one that I really enjoyed. Oh, you know which one? Tangled. I really like Tangled. Tangled was really nice. In the new course, what are the reasons for people to do the UVs like you did and UV faces on Square? You mean the face of the UV? That's usually to get more resolution on the face, like just make a better use of the whole sort of like section. You can do that. In my opinion, it's sort of like a diminishing return sort of thing. So sometimes it really works to sort of like get this grid-like structure on your UVs to get as much resolution as possible. But it comes to a point where it's like, I'm just like spending, I don't know, 1-2 extra hours trying to optimize, and I'm just getting 0.05 more texel density. So is it really worth it? Sometimes it will be, sometimes it will not for this kind of style. Again, it really depends on the project. So it's a good thing. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it comes to a point where there is definitely a diminishing return. And in this case, I did use the grid structure for a lot of things, but not for the face. Because the face was going to be covered by the hat as well. So, like, no need to get more resolution there. Alex Alminion, you missed the new course, my friend. We have the new hand-painted character course ready. It's on the site. Alita, yeah, Alita was really good in terms of like technical execution. Yeah, really nice. Let's export this file, export selection. By the way, I did something new on this course that I think you guys are gonna like. There are more projects. So the docs, as I mentioned, there's a couple of tools and a couple of like little elements that you can do to keep practicing. So there's like a bonus exercises folder that you can use to, what's the word? To practice more of the hand painted and baking stuff. Oh, Ratatouille. Yeah, that one's another big one. Yeah, definitely Ratatouille. The Crystal High. Okay. So we need to now go to Substance Painter. The reason why we need to do this is because we need to generate some bakes, just to get some like basic colors, basic gradients, basic elements for our gemstone, and then we're gonna bring this into 3D Code to do the full painting. Now we're gonna focus on doing a black and white paint because I'm gonna show you at the end how that is so easy to change into color later on. I have not seen the wild robot, dude. I'm missing so many things, and I'm guessing this is because of the adult life, right? I'm married, I have a kid, and I'm working on this project, and I'm working on my other jobs, so I don't have as much time as I would like to do things that I enjoy. And then when I'm doing the things that I enjoy, I feel guilty that I could be, you know, recording another short or doing more things for the course. So yeah, like I haven't finished Expedition 33. I haven't finished a lot of other games. I haven't watched the second season of Arcane. Like there's so many things that I need to do. Let's select the crystal right here. Assets, crystal, low, open. 2K should be more than enough. There we go. And let's do the bakes right here. Bring in our high poly. There we go. Someone asked if we were going to be putting this course on Udemy. No, Sonkas, and we've explained this before. The reason why we don't use Udemy anymore is because of the fees. They have some very bad fees. There's like it's just not sustainable for the project. So no, we're not gonna have the thing in Udemy. Okay, so this is it. So as you can see, this is the normal map information, and it looks quite nice, but we need to transfer all of this information onto the color information, because right now there's absolutely no color information right here. So we're gonna do some very, very simple things. I'm gonna start with a fill color, and I'm gonna go really, really dark, something like that. And I'm gonna add a new layer, and this new layer is gonna be a white color, and I'm gonna use a generator, and this is gonna be a light generator. Why a light generator? Because I want light to be coming from the top, like this. And as you can see, this is already defining some really nice planes on my element. Remember, this is just color information. There's no normal information. There's nothing. It's just color information. Do I have a good intuition that you'll have learned ZBrush also from Madeline Scott? Yep. Madeline Scott. Who else? Well, of course, my teachers back when I was at Noman. But yeah, that was one of the first tutorials. I actually have some of her books right there. Because yeah, she's been like a master of ZBrush for so long. Same problems, feeling guilty when gaming, but I shouldn't have. No, we shouldn't have to. We should be able to enjoy that as well. So yeah, this is the light right here, and the cool thing about this is we can play a little bit with the highlight level. I don't want to have my whites be as bright as what we have right there. I'm gonna bring in the highlight glossiness a little bit so that we also don't have pure blacks on the bottom part. So let's play a little bit with that. And as you can see, it's just form. We're focusing on adding form into our crystal directly with just like this generators right here. Then I'm going to add another generator. This is going to be a dark generator. And we're going to add a dirt generator. So I'm going to add a black mask. And then on this black mask, we're going to add a generator. This is going to be a dirt generator. I'm going to remove the grunge. I don't want to have any grunge right here. As you can see that we have it's kind of like an ambient occlusion sort of thing. That looks really interesting. Actually, I love that effect right there. Look at that. It kind of looks like there's like more interesting things right there. And here's where we can use some of the new filters. So for instance, I'm going to use a filter, and I'm going to start with something simple like a blur slope. The blur slope is really cool because we get this sort of like faceted effect. It's not exactly painterly or hand painted, but it gives a nice effect. We can change this division. Actually, 1 is fine. There we go. And I'm going to set this to something like a multiply. And then I'm going to bring the information down because I don't want the colors to be as intense. So I'm just going to use that as a sort of like basic highlight or basic line. We could even add another filter. There's some new like hand-painted brush filters. Let's try them on. Let's see if they work. Does it work? Did it work? Stylization filter? No, it's not working with this one. I think it needs to be on the color. Anyway, I use that when creating eyes. Yeah, exactly. This is one of the things that we can do for eyes. I'm in the Discord. In the event section, is there something? Yes, YouTube Trailer Park. If you are on the Discord, go here to the event section and just click on that little thing right there. We got 2 more minutes for the next winner, and we're going to have it right there in just a second. I'm going to make this even thinner. There we go, because I don't want to have too much value right there. And I'm going to go to the dirt and probably bring this down a little bit. I'll have just a very sort of like basic variation in tones right there. Even then I feel like it's a little bit too much. That kind of looks a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. Looks really interesting. Okay, now we're going to add another layer. This is going to be a bright layer. So this is going to be black mask, edge generator, and we're going to add a middle edge wear. And that one's going to give us the sort of like sharpness on the borders of the whole thing, right? But actually, because I'm thinking that this is going to be like a dark stone, think about like obsidian or something like that, and I want the borders to be black. So I'm going to go here to this element and go for this really black border right there. Then let's play a little bit with the metal edgeware. No grunge. There we go. Let's gonna increase the brush, the edge level right there. And then this one, of course, we're also gonna play with the values so they're not as intense. Yeah, that looks interesting. Now I do want to be losing a little bit of that sort of like sharpness from the other side. So I'm gonna use another fill layer, another dark color, black mask, and we're gonna use another light generator. So we're going to add another light generator, but this one we're going to be pushing from the bottom right here. And as you can see, what this one will do is it will sort of like dampen some of the colors there on the bottom part. Like that. That way we get more sort of like shininess or brightness on the top part of the crystal and less of that on the bottom part. Does that make sense? Hopefully this makes sense. Of course, maybe not as dark. Something like that. So remember, all of this that we're doing, this is right now on the color map. This is color information that we're doing, and we can use this as a base to start painting some elements. And we got 30 more seconds to go for the next winner here. You guys are going to have to tell me the name because for some reason, again, we got this streamer mode enabled, and I can't see the names of the winners. But the next winner, oh, there we go. We can see it. So congratulations to Legend Icon. Legend Icon, my friend, thank you for being here. Hopefully you're here on the YouTube or on the Twitch chat. And congratulations, you are the winner of the second giveaway for today. We got one more giveaway to go. So if you guys want to participate, make sure to join the Discord because we're about to launch that in just a couple of minutes. Asylum in Hell says, I finished your Intro to Maya course and I'm now following Mythological Female course. Mythological Female? I don't have a Mythological Female course. I have the Sci-Fi Female that I did for Next to a couple of years ago. Mythological Female? Oh, I know which one. I know which one. Yeah. The Freya one, right? Oh, dude. Now that's back in memory lane. Mythological. Do I have the render? I don't even have that in my portfolio, do I? Manage portfolio. No, I don't think I have Freya on my portfolio. I should add her. It's not that bad. I've grown too much since then, but no, I don't have Freya. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That's an old course, man. That's a really old course. I mean, it's still valuable information, but I've grown so much as an artist from then. So yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. This is the again, like just a basic construction. We can add more filters, more elements here, but I feel like I like where this is looking. One thing that I might want to do here is I'm gonna go to this one. I'm gonna add a paint layer, and I'm gonna remove some of the the elements from the top. See that? So it's kind of like, actually, instead of doing that, you know what we can use? We can use another generator, and this is going to be a gradient or a position generator. Let's invert this, and let's multiply. There we go. So we can use this one to like fade that effect, like that dark effect down, so we give a little bit more glow to the top of the element. Now this has a lot of contrast, and I do want this rock to have a lot of contrast because it's supposed to be it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to have this again. Like we need to sort of like push the view of our the eyes of our viewer to a specific part of the character. So yeah, that's it. Let's export. I'm gonna export the textures. Export to the crystal. There we go, and just export. From all of those textures that we're exporting, the only one that we really need is gonna be the base color. So this one right here. That's all we need. The base color of the crystal. Corre Plátano, you can go to the Discord channel. You have the link right there. Go to the events section of the Discord channel. So right here, events, and there's going to be like a little party popper thingy. Just click on that thing right there, and that way you can participate for the third giveaway for today. What were the inspiration for artists than entertainment? No shaming gaming. I totally agree. Yeah, this is looking a little bit like Borderlands. We're gonna do a hand-painted style for this gem right here. Now, give me 1 second because I have a very cool reference that I got yesterday. And that's a very important thing for... What's the word? For anything that we do in art. Like, I don't know why people feel like using references like cheating. Apparently, it's not like cheating. Look at this beautiful reference. This is a study, a material study. I don't have the name of the artist, but I'm gonna look it up a little bit later. It's a little bit inverted to what I want to do, but it has the same sort of like principle. So if we just rotate the image, it's gonna give us the sort of like effect that we're going for. Actually, should we do it? Invert it? Let me show you. So it's this gem right here, this blue one. Looks really nice, right? Like, look at the level of detail that we have. So that's the sort of like effect that I'm going for with this one. Right now I'm doing it the opposite. So he has the glow on the base of the gem and then no glow on the top. We have it the opposite. Should we do it the opposite? What do you guys think? Should we like invert this thing right here? Because we can. It's really not that complicated. Yes, let's invert it. Okay, yeah. So here's what we need to do. If that's the element. So this is the white element. So we just need to go here. Let's invert. And then we need to go. There we go. Something like that. This one, let's invert. There we go. And we need to play with the values a little bit more. There we go. Let's darken this a little bit more. And we can add the light on the other software. Yeah, that looks quite sick. I agree. You guys were right. It looks a lot better like this. Can't you bake in 3D code? Is there a preference? Yeah, you can bake in 3D code, Jeffrey. That's totally possible. But I'm just more used to doing it in Substance, to be honest. So if you're comfortable doing it in 3D code after you finish the retopology process and the UVs, you're free to do that in 3D code as well. I think, in my personal opinion, that Marmoset has the best baker out there. Substance is a very close second. I haven't really tried the 3D code one, to be honest. I will need to give it a shot and see how good or optimized it is. But I just prefer to do it in other softwares. What are the most important tools to learn to get a job? I'm taking a course, but I feel like this is going wrong because they're teaching Modbox 3ds Max and Substance. I see the game industry uses different tools. Yeah, normally, I mean, no Modbox, man. no, what's the word? Oh, yeah, I haven't used Modbox in more than 10 years. So, yeah, I would probably not advise to continue doing it in more Modbox. 3D Max is fine. A lot of people use 3D Max instead of what's the word? A lot of people use 3D Max instead of Maya. But yeah, Modbox definitely not the best option. Yeah, either Maya or even Blender, to be honest. I'm gonna record a short soon because I'm getting a little bit tired of all of the Blender. I don't know, it feels like a cult sometimes. I'm a huge Blender fan. I use it a lot on my workflows. But for some reason, people think that if you're using Maya, you're, I don't know, going against the freedom of software or whatever. It's like, dude, chill. They're just tools. You can use whatever tool you want. Yeah, some of the Blender guys can be a little bit too intense, I would say. Yeah. That war is just so annoying. So annoying and so... I don't know, stupid? Is that the right word? Like really, really stupid? There we go. Okay, so this is it. We got the base color right there. I'm just going to create a new layer. And now we can start painting. I just need my brushes. Where are they? Windows, panels, brushes. There we go. Let's dock them right here. And I like using my square brush. I like using square brush. And we're going to be doing this in black and white. This is going to be quite important. Oh, wait a second. My digital pen got mouse key, mouse right key. No, middle mouse. There we go. So someone was asking about my configuration. I don't have anything special, just middle mouse on this one, right mouse on this one, and of course the click is the normal mouse, right? Now we can have fun with painting. I think Blender users just made a cult without them knowing that they made a cult. That's the best description I've heard about some of the Blender users. Not everyone, by the way, not everyone. There's a lot of very cool people on the Blender community. So what I need to do here is I need to start simplifying the values and start just like cleaning up all of this information. Because right now we have a lot of gradients and a lot of colors that we really don't want to have. So I'm going to have a dark tone right here. I'm going to grab my lighter tone here. I'm going to start adding a little bit of a lighter tone on this area. And it's all about blending. We cover blending on the first couple of chapters. A lot of people struggle really with blending the first time that you're doing like digital painting. I did. I remember I did. There's some exercises that I actually include there that you can follow to get a nice idea of how to blend. But right here, one of the most important things is what I call, it's not that I call it, that's what it's called, it's the local color value. So we don't want to push the values too high. We always want to have a sort of like control approach to the kinds of values and eventually colors that we're going to be using. A very common mistake that people make is like, oh, I want to make this thing brighter, and you grab like a very bright color and then you just add it. That destroys, like completely destroys sort of like the effect that we're going for. So it's very important that if these are the values that we have, for instance, on this face of the crystal, we start with those values, and we're never going to go to these values right here. So if we want to go darker, right, like if we want to add a little bit of this darkness effect right here, I'm not going to grab this dark and start adding it because it's too much. So I need to grab a little bit more of an intermediate dark value, something like that, and start using that to blend my colors, okay? This is how we start building our values. We keep a sort of like control value contrast on the elements to make sure that we don't break the rules of where the light is actually hitting this element. Taylor Wright says, oh man, I love crystals. Well, welcome, because today we're doing this very nice crystal right here. We can definitely add a little bit more contrast, but it should always, again, be sort of like controlled. There we go. So look at the difference there. That's the magic of the hand-painted style, how we can very quickly start adding a little bit of this information. For instance, I really like this sort of like lighter colors that we get right there, so I can introduce a little bit of that light color, but again, not too much. It's just an indication. I want to bring back some of my darker borders right here. It is good, but people get overwhelmed if one other uses Maya. My classmate Chris, yeah, and I don't really get it. I don't really get why people do that. To me, the end result is the most important. And believe me, the clients, they don't care what tools you use. They just want to see the final renders or the final models or the final whatever. So it's quite pointless, in my opinion, to fight over which software is better. We uploaded, right, Alan? We uploaded one of the shorts not too long ago, the one where we were doing the ropes inside of Maya using the sweep mesh tool, because, well, the sweep mesh is it's a really nice tool. It's a really cool tool. And most of the comments were like, oh, I could do that in Blender in 5 seconds. It's like, okay, cool. I'm happy for you. I could do it as well, but I wanted to show you this tool inside of Maya today. Maybe another time I'll show you how to do it in another software, but it's a little bit annoying. Let's see. When does the giveaway event end? We have. I'm currently saving up to purchase the new 3D Code course, and I should be ready by the end of the month. It's right now. It's going on right now on the Discord, my friend. Since you mentioned Fibershop, have you thought about making a quick video YouTube about it? I followed that tutorial on the official channel. Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, Fibershop is it's a cool tool. We reached out to them. We wanted to do a collaboration, but we didn't hear back. So Fibershop, if you're hearing, like the word, get back to us. Definitely want to clean this border. See how there's a lot of like information right there? Let's simplify that. Clean that, for instance, here. Instead of having that, let's just keep a single panel. And one thing that you're going to realize about hand-painted stuff is that, hand-painted textures, is the more you know about light, the more you know about color, the more you know about materials, the easier this whole process is going to become. It's one of those skills and areas of expertise where knowing about traditional stuff is really good. Like, it gives you quite a bit of an edge. I feel like all of the sort of like experience that I have painting miniatures, like D&D miniatures, has really helped me like understand these principles a lot better. Let's add a little bit more value here to make the crystal glow a little bit more. Painting what? Sorry, miniatures. D&D miniatures. I'm a huge D&D fan. And I like to 3D print and paint my own miniatures. Back when I was younger, I used to play this game called War Machine, which was a tabletop like skirmish game, similar to Warhammer, but with fewer like figures. My brother and I used to play it quite a bit. And I learned how to paint with acrylics, right? How to paint shades or shadows, lights, highlights, different types of materials, because at the end of the day, you're still just using plastic paint, right? No, I haven't finished that one. I might do it in the next couple of weeks. I want to start working on the next course. Again, I don't know what the next course is going to be just yet, but I want to start working on that one. Maybe when I retire, I'm going to finish that freaking dragon head that I have over there. Let's see. I wish Substance had more features to help with styling. The new filter is cool, but the thing that ZBrush would need to do would be to revamp the whole brush system. Like, if they can make the brush system from Substance feel the exact same way as it does on Photoshop, for instance, they win. Like, they just win. Simple as that. But I'm not sure how easy that is, because there are different softwares, right? It's not the same thing to paint on a 2D canvas than it is to do on a 3D canvas. So I understand why it is complicated or difficult to do so. But again, that's what they would need to really get there. For instance, here again, what I'm doing is I'm grouping values. All of the values that I see that are similar, I'm just grouping them into the same tone. We'll add the texture back later on if we want to. But that just gives us a cleaner, more like interesting looking crystal in this case. Where should someone start with D&D? Me and Sam were talking about getting into it, but where to start? I saw a lot of stuff online. So there's systems. The first thing that you need to understand is there are different systems. Most of the systems are relatively similar. If you want to start with the classic, which is D&D, then I recommend getting some of the starter sets. They sell them on Amazon. It's a good way to get. And 5th edition is very sort of like beginner friendly. Like you're gonna be able to understand how the system works very, very easily. There's other systems. I personally play one called Pathfinder with my friends, and that system is a little bit again, a little bit different. And it also has like a starter set that's really good to teach the basics of the systems. The guys at Critical Role, they just released their own system. I think it's called Daggerheart. And from what I've seen online, it's like working fine. Like people like it. If you like Mistborn and Stormlight Archives, Sanderson is also releasing his own system. That one's called, I don't remember if there's a specific name for that one. It's his own system as well. So all of those systems are role-playing systems. Just grab the one that you feel the most interesting to you and read the rules. You're gonna have to read the rules. They're rule-heavy games, but they're fun. They're quite fun. Okay, let's definitely add a little bit more light on this face right here. It's like the diffuse light that's hitting, it's traveling through the crystal, and then sort of like coming out from the top, right, or from the bottom. And then here on the bottom, I'm gonna start going a little bit lighter on the tones. I'm just gonna start blocking in some colors there. And as you can see how much volume we're getting from that glow right there? We're not really removing or it's like a very sort of like thin layer of like an overlay, like a glazing. We call this glazing in Spanish is veladura, which is like a very watered down version of the element that you can add to your object, and it sort of like brings all of the values up, gives this very nice effect. See that? And then here, for instance, we start getting some interesting lines that we can use as cracks. For instance, I kind of like that crack right there, so I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna start doing a little bit of line work here. I'm gonna use the sort of like the Bob Ross approach, right? Like a happy little accident. So I can see like there's a big crack right here on the crystal. That's going to be a little bit darker because light is diffusing through that area. And then what would I expect to happen here? Well, I would expect light to like be coming out of this like edge right here. Right? It bounces through the edge pretty much. We're going to see it coming out from that element. And then on this one right here, we can go definitely darker to like a gradient here. There we go. See that? So that's how we start creating the intricate shading effects on this particular crystal. Lighten up this face a little bit. Light refracts very like interestingly. If you've ever seen a diamond or like an uncut diamond, sometimes you see faces that are glowing. It's like, what? Why the hell is that face glowing? Like, it makes no sense. That's because light bounces in very sort of like weird ways. But we can incorporate that sort of like information here on this crystal. Give that crack a little bit. Yeah. It's crazy how it adds depth. It looks like we're looking what's inside of. Exactly. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to, and that's the trick with a lot of what we do in 3D, right? Like I was telling this to my student yesterday. We're like magicians. We want people to believe that there's way more stuff and way more information than there actually is. That's our job, right? Like right now you're looking at this element, and again, it's just a flat color. There's absolutely no other information, and we see the depth. We see the intensity of some of these elements, right? Now the thing is, and this is where a lot of people get impatient, the polish stage, right? We need to really focus on cleaning up all of this element and really polishing it so that it looks nice. Because right now it looks very blurry. Like if you get close to it, it looks very blurry. Now I know that, for instance, in the case of this character, if he's holding this gemstone, it's probably going to be like, what's the word? It's probably going to be a very small prop. It's probably going to have like a 512 map or like a 256 map. So it's not going to be as intense. And we can sort of like hope that the blur or the compression of the image is going to clean a lot of the stuff that we're doing. But ideally, you want to practice to be as clean as possible on your blends, right? And like got a little bit too light, so let's start darkening it a little bit more. I'll go back to my midtones here. We're grabbing some of the dark tones right here. Sorry, I'm missing some of the comments. Let's see. How about something cyberpunk for the next course? Yeah. One of the things that we definitely want to include is some more hard surface stuff. People have been asking for that. Someone who's fairly new, what should I prioritize? 3D code or substance? Substance, especially if you want to get a job in the industry, substance is a more high priority, I would say. 3D code is good, but yeah. Do you have any mentorship spots open? Sorry for asking. Yes, I do have one, my friend. Send me a DM on Discord and I can give you more information and we can figure something out, okay? Okay. Now I'm gonna grab a little bit more of a darker tone to darken this face right here. There we go. See that? Maybe not that much. Oh no, light is dying. I apologize. Earlier today there was like a huge bang and the lights went off, so a regulator or some sort of like thing like just died here. So if the stream suddenly cuts, I'm sorry. It's probably a light issue. Can you see the light flickering? Yeah, the third giveaway is going on, guys. If you want to be part of it, make sure to join the Discord channel. Yeah, it is flickering a little bit. Light has been quite unstable. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Let's clean this one a little bit as well. And one of the things that we can do already to start seeing how this is looking is let's export. So I'm going to say edit, or sorry, textures, export, color albedo map. Call this crystal color. We're going to be replacing this, of course. But if we go to our character, let's bring our crystal already. Just to see, the main thing that I want to see right now is I want to see how the values are playing with the character. Maybe they're a little bit too intense. Maybe they're a little bit too like simple. And it's very, very easy to set up this type of material here on the, what's the word? On the character. So I'm going to position the crystal as if he was holding it. What do you guys think? Should it be bigger? Should it be smaller? I think that's a good size. I don't want the crystal to be like extremely intense. Something like that seems fine. And Chiro Jewel says, how is it going today, Abe? I wish I was there when you showed the announcement. Oh, don't worry, my friend. I'll show the trailer in just a bit again, but let me show you this. So I'm gonna change this element to unlit so that it's completely flat. There's absolutely no light information, and then we bring in the color information. It's crystal color, goes right there. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, as you can see, I feel like we're right there on the colors. Let's get rid of any sort of like information here. So there should be no other channel. So what I'm looking at here is I want to make sure that the darkest colors on my crystal are not as dark as or rather are similar in the darkness to the darkest colors on my character. Same thing for the light colors. I actually think we can push the light colors a little bit more, because right now it is glowing a little bit on one side, but on the other it's not glowing as much. So we can definitely push this, a little bit higher, because right now the highlights of the character are higher in terms of value than the ones from our crystal. And this is very important, like comparing this kind of stuff every now and then with the full context of colors is super, super important, because color theory, someone was asking about that earlier, has to do a lot with the relationships between the colors. So it's not the same to have a light color close to very dark colors. That way it's gonna, or if you do that, it's gonna look a lot lighter than to have light color close to other light colors where it's gonna look duller. So all of those are like differentiations or little like details can be very, very important. I will say you need to holding it so a little bit too big. Yeah, it could be a little bit big. We can make it smaller in just a bit. And if you take a look at this, if we sample this color, you're going to see that we're not all the way there to pure white. I don't like going all the way to pure white, because once you get there, there's no going back. So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit lighter, but I do want to have some of those highlights here, the base of this element. And again, just clean up a little bit of this stuff. Thanks for the follow, guys. I missed a couple of follows. Let's see. We got Mr. Pepino 91. We got All Star Key. We got Mask 3D. We got Daburgad Art. We got Cozy Draws. There you go. Can you recommend a book for color theory, Avi? Game Day Sam. I was waiting for that question. Yes. I'm going to share with you one of my little secrets here of the books that I've used to learn a lot of that. This one right here. Such an amazing book. Like, I haven't seen this good of a book in a long time, and when I saw that, I was like, I need to get it. It's a little bit pricey. The good thing is I think they donate most of the winnings to charity, so that's great. And it has so much good information about the technicalities of color. We cover a lot of this on the course, by the way. Of course, I use this like book as a big foundation for the theoretical information that I'm sharing with you guys. But this one right here, in terms of like learning about color and value and composition and all of this stuff, really, really good. They have more books in the series. I haven't gotten them yet, but I definitely want to get them. They have one about composition, I think, and another one about attic stuff, I think, if I'm not mistaken. There's like 3. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3 on the series, but this one, really, really, really good book. If you like books and you like to learn from books, that one, huge. And we're not sponsored or anything, but I'm just recommending that one because it's really, really good. Yeah, The Color and Light by James Gurney, another great one too. There we go. Thanks for the sub, Cold Sylph, and welcome. Let's see. Mr. Pepino says, hola Abe, estoy creando un partenariado con el futuro, ya va a quedar, ¿verdad? Bueno, es el Leal y el resto de texturas. I use 3D Sampler, Mr. Pepino. That's usually the one that people use. 3D Code's another big one, to be honest. I haven't used a lot of those photogrammetry tools. I would probably recommend to do it inside of 3D Sampler if you're going to be doing a tileable material. Has some really nice tools for that. Cold Sylph says, I'm currently doing retopology on a mesh, but the original sculpt is slightly tilted. Its transforms are already at 0 in XYZ. What's the best way to mirror my retopo in this case? If you can tilt your high poly back so that it's as close as possible to symmetrical, that will probably be the best option, Cold Sylph. Yes, of course. The course includes the base mesh, right? Yeah. So if you guys want the course and you don't want to do the sculpting stuff and you just want to jump into the bakes and the hand painted, you can do that. You just skip the first like couple of chapters. Like chapter 2 and 3 are the sculpting chapters. You can skip those and go directly to retopology and hand painting. So yeah. I always did monochrome illustrations, so I really need to learn about color. Yeah, that one, color and light, really good one. The James Gurney one is another awesome one. And just trying it yourself, it's a great way to learn about color, I would say. A little bit more by the information here. Craig says, "Hey Abe, remember the internship I told about? You told me to give my best at the internship." Yeah. How are you doing there, my friend? Is it over? No, it can't be over. Or is it? Or did you get a job? Oh, hopefully you give me some good news right now. What happened with that, Crix? What happened? Joseph Fabrian says, "Hi Abe, I want to make wings like angel wings for game assets. Did the theory to make the feathers for wings is same for the hair Maya creation action? If you're gonna be baking down the wings, then yes, you create like the core of the wing, and then you create all of the hairs, and you bake that down into a hair card, and then you use that as part of your game engine. Or you can keep them as fibers if you want, but it's gonna be very, very heavy. Other people sculpt the wings and then bake them down, but yeah, usually you bake them down. Wings are tricky, man. Not only making them, rigging them. Oh, it's so tricky to rig a wing. Not extremely difficult, but it is. It's not super easy either. So I'm gonna show you guys in just a second how we can start polishing one of the faces. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this crystal on this session. We might pick it up later on, or I'll just finish it on my own. As I mentioned, this I do believe I include the crystal on the assets. If it's missing, someone let me know and I'll upload it later. But it's a really good exercise, I think. Nah, it's about 3 months, but after 3 weeks, there are some issues I'm facing. First is over freaking time. Oh, Crix, nah, man. Welcome to the industry, my friend. There's no such thing as work-life balance, unfortunately. Yeah, welcome to the industry. That's about it. Well, that's a little bit too much, I would say. 10, that's definitely a little bit too much. But overtime is quite common. It's very common. And I can tell you that happens everywhere. It happens, and as if you freelance, it happens if you're in a studio, it happens if you're in a small studio, big studio. Ideally, you want to be in a studio that has like good balance, but it's very common. It's very common. It's part of the sacrifice, I guess, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't, but it is. 50 seconds. Okay, we're going for the last winner. For the last winner for today. 52 seconds. There we go. Almost there. Okay. We're going to get that just very, very soon. Welcome to the 60-hour club. Exactly. Yeah, but 8:30 to 10 a.m., that's quite tough, to be honest. Like, normally I would be in the studios where it was like 2 or 3 hours of overtime. 2 hours, usually. Yours seems to be like quite a bit of extra overtime. And the winner is Ben. Congratulations, my friend. Ben, you are the proud winner, the proud owner of either the new course if you want it, or if you want to get any of the other courses, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be getting that to you, okay? We're going to be, or I'm going to be doing that at the end of the live stream. We're going to keep, I think we're going to go for another hour here. We're having a good time, right? Are you guys having fun? Are you learning? That's the most important thing. Hopefully you guys are learning, because that's the whole point of these things. We were selecting the winners with Discord, my friend. We have a bot there on Discord that tells us the winners. So that was the way we were doing that. Do you know any games that talk about character creation, like poses, clothing, faces? Not really. Not digital. There might be some about like traditional painting or like traditional drawing. But for digital artists, I don't have any out of the top of my head. Right now I'm using a little bit of black right there to give a little bit more thickness to some of the borders of the crystal. There we go. That's gonna give a little bit more sort of like depth to the whole thing. Yeah, congrats to all the winners, my friend. I'm gonna be again contacting you after the stream is done. So just be patient. But you can start thinking about which course you want to have, okay? Let's see. Overtime is okay if it's something I'm passionate about. Yeah, and if it's paid, of course. Like, ideally, overtime should be paid. On an internship, it's probably not going to be the case, unfortunately. But that's where you can... Like, here's the difference, I would say. If the overtime is happening because someone messed up, Like someone didn't account for a specific thing, or they didn't think about something that was going to be taking like super long. That sucks, and that should not be something that you pay for, right? But if it's something like unprecedented, something that's not happening very often, and they're asking you, hey, please help us out, help us through this crisis, then I do believe that here in Mexico, they say ponerse la camiseta, which is being loyal, being part, and taking one for the team, right? That's okay. Like, I know some people are against that. It's like, no, everything should be paid. Hey, like, people are figuring shit out all the time. So if you need to, again, take one for the team and just help the whole company, the studio, out, I think that's okay. And that's going to open up a lot of relationships for you, because you're going to be someone that people can count on, right? I think that's cool. That's a good way to do it. But if they're abusing that, right? Like if they're, again, mismanaging time, mismanaging resources, and you're constantly in overtime because they just don't know how to properly budget money and time and things like that, that's not a good place to be. Like if that's something constant and it's happening all the time, that's probably not a good place to be, because that means that managers are going to be, again, abusing that system and taking advantage of you, which I don't recommend. No, projects are always important. That's the thing. That's one thing you need to understand, Crix, and everyone who's getting into the job market. Projects are always going to be important. Like there's never going to be a project that they're going to say, oh, this project's not important, don't worry about it. No. So projects are going to always be important. What you need to be, or ideally you want to be part of a team that knows how to properly prioritize every project and make sure that like the people are having the right conditions to work in. Like that would be the ideal situation. Unfortunately, again, not every studio does that. Like I can tell you something. Like last week, I asked Alan, our good editor friend right here, like, hey man, we need you to stay a little bit later today because we need to prepare the trailers for the winners. And of course, what we did is we exchanged some of the hours that we needed on Thursday for some of the hours on Friday. I always try to be as fair as possible. But he was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I was like, okay, cool, awesome. Because that was an extraordinary situation where we needed that kind of like flexibility, right? I think that's fine, and it's common every now and then to have to work with those sort of like flexibilities. But if you're doing that all the time or very frequently, we need to really put things in a balance and see if that's what you want to do going forward. Okay, so let's focus on this area, guys. I wanna start going and showing you a little bit of like the sort of like the polish stage. Right now, this is like the blocking stage, which I like. I think we're in a good position. But let's focus a little bit on the polish stage on this area right here. So what I want to do is I want to start tightening up the details. I want to start cleaning up the planes and making sure that this looks a lot nicer. So for instance, if we're gonna have this crack right here, which I really like, I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna do this on another layer so that you can see the difference at the end. So I'm gonna really carve in the pit right there. And we need to start cleaning up the planes, like making sure that we have some nice, interesting borders. Borders are one of the secrets of painting. Not only like this kind of like a stylized painting, but any kind of stuff. Like the difference between values and how the borders shift between each other. Not shit, shift. There you go. Basilia, this is 3D code. We're using it for hand-painted stuff right now. The way this things shift, we can do that. Mistakes are made in bad situations occur. No matter how perfect we try to be, it's about being able to fix mistakes. Yeah, that's right. Is it me? Or what? What's happening? Did we miss something? Yeah, there you go, Berg. How are you, my friend? Welcome, welcome. No, I'm still here. Can you see me? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Do we have some dropped frames right here? Maybe we dropped there for a little bit. Testing. Did my internet die all of a sudden? F5? Yeah, refresh, guys. YouTube, can you hear me? Everything seems to be in order over here. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Or is Twitch failing? Working now? Yeah? Okay. I'm good. I'm good. Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe we lost a little bit of connection. Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, okay. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I'm here. Here. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, edges. So we need to really mark our edges, to really push and make sure that the borders between the different elements are as clean as possible. Hey, don't be afraid of having strong edges. And this is something that if you've ever seen Bob Ross, he does this quite a bit. He uses the spatula, and the spatula is a really strong tool because it can really have a very nice, intense, hard edge on the canvas, right? So don't be afraid of doing that. Don't be afraid of having like strong edges. And then once we have those strong edges, then we can go back and add a little bit of gradients or details to really polish some of the stuff. And we always need to think about where is the light source coming from, right? So in this case, the light source is coming from within the crystal. So I would expect to see a little bit of that light source bleeding through some of the edges on the crystal. Yeah, right? He goes like really strong with the brushes. Bob Ross is a huge inspiration for me. You guys know why? Not only was he an amazing painter, he was really good, but he loved art. He enjoyed doing art. Sure, I'm not sure if he was like a billionaire or completely rich, but he enjoyed doing art and he enjoyed teaching about art. So I try to keep his legacy alive a little bit through what I'm doing. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing it wrong. Okay. So for instance here, now we can add a little bit more detail and be like, hey, what if we want to push this border up a little bit? So I'm gonna add a little bit of a gradient here, like a dark gradient, to blend this thing a little bit more. Getting a little bit too dark, so we're not seeing much information there. So we might need a little bit of a highlight maybe. Maybe this is a very glossy stone, and we can grab a lighter tone here, a highlight. And that highlight, as you can see right there, is going to separate planes. Yeah, a way for me to generate a different type of effect. A little bit lighter. Yeah, there you go. Now, the more gradient or the smoother you sort of like blend something, the rougher it's going to be. If you want something to be really, really, really shiny, you need a lot of contrast. So if I grab like a very bright white color here, and I paint just a little dot right there, like that, that now looks glossy, right? That looks like it's shining, like there's like a glint or something there. And it's very, very important to remember that, because how we push some of the lights, some of the elements, can really give us a different type of perception of the things that we're doing. Did I die again? Oh, now I died. Hell. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Testing, testing, testing. We're back. We should be back. We should be back. No, I am getting some drop frames here on the. I'm getting some drop frames on Twitch. I think it's Twitch. There's something back there on Twitch. YouTube seems to be doing fine. So if you guys don't want to see any skip, you might want to switch to YouTube. I don't know. Yeah, because my internet is fine. So I'm guessing it's some sort of like drop frames over here. Yeah, sorry about that. So I was mentioning that in order to get different material sort of like indications, as you can see right here, we can play with the contrast that we have. So the more contrast we have, the more shiny something is going to look, the more reflective it's going to be. So that's what they do here on the reference. You can see on this reference, you have these very bright spots and then these very dark spots very close to each other. So that's a way to generate a different type of effect on the whole thing. Twitch is having an awesomeness overload from the stream. Yeah. Yeah. Gonna incorporate a little bit more light here, just on the very top right there. kind of like the indication that there's some material coming out of that specific area. And then let's grab a very light white. A little bit of a highlight right there. See how that highlight, that really intense highlight there, changes our perception, how we are, well, perceiving this element. That's the magic of color. How those elements, how by placing certain types of values close to each other, we get a different type of effect. Berks has a question. Says, Abraham, I have a question. Have you ever used Upwork for like freelance stuff? No, I've never used any of those platforms, Berk. I've been lucky enough that most of the freelance stuff that I've gotten, it's through context. So people contact me, or some of my friends recommend me to someone else, and that's how I get the call. So I've never used those, but I've seen some people that have been quite successful in those kind of like sites. The one thing that I will always recommend if you're using those kind of tools is make sure you have very clear written agreements of the expectations, deliverables, things like that, because it's very, very common for those kinds of like places to scam people, unfortunately. So I don't want you guys to get scammed. Therefore, I do recommend that you have things very, very clearly outlined. Usually, I always ask for an advance payment. That's also quite important. Here I'm adding a little bit of, again, I added like an extra, oh, an extra cut right there on the crystal. Hands right here. Blend it. It's kind of like the thickness that we're adding. I love this process. I just love hand painted very, very much. Very relaxing. So this is the difference, right? No polish, a little bit more polish. No polish, a little bit more polish. That's how we can start pushing some of these elements to sort of like the next level. There's a lot more tricks that I have on the course that you guys can discover. I'm not gonna spoil all of the surprises here, but there's a lot of like cool techniques. Alan knows some of them because he was editing the whole thing. There's some really, really nice things that we can do to add more interesting information here. But this is a great exercise. Like just learning how to, again, to blend and create this like elements is really good. My institute also graded my portfolio B+, and I wasn't like, man, it was not ready. Yeah. I mean, grades in this area or in this like thing that we do are very subjective. Kurt, I have not started any other course, my friend. Right now, as I've mentioned, there's 3 courses that are on the, let's say, like near future, because those are the ones that people have been asking for. One would be the creature course. One would be the female anatomy course, and another one would be the hard surface course. I'm seeing if I can combine the hard surface and the female one into one. That could be an option. But for instance, on the creature course, some of you that are looking forward to something like that, is there a specific thing that you want to learn about creatures? Because I feel like the Oni course covers a lot of the sculpting information that you could expect to find on the creature course. So I'm not really sure if there's a specific thing or a different thing that I could show you there. Designing principles. Oh, okay. So you want to learn how to create a creature, not follow just the concept and then... Okay, yeah, that's a slightly different approach, which is fine. Any suggestion on how should I approach learning Houdini? And I've never learned Houdini. Like that's actually one of my goals. I want to learn a little bit more about Houdini because it's a beast. That's another like very, very big software. I know they use it a little bit more for like film rather than the games. I know they use it for games as well. I'm just saying that most of the time that you hear about Houdini is for simulations and things like that. So I definitely need to learn Houdini. I know they have a program. I think they have a program on their site. Cinematic version, like ZBrush, Maya Mari, like film production would be cool. Yeah, like more Udemy stuff, like higher texture quality. Yeah, that could work. That sounds interesting. Can you name the ZBrush sculpting book again, Abe? Which one? I didn't name any book. There's some from... Second, guys. Made me go all the way to the vault to get this one. So this is these are a couple of books that I used when I was learning. This is called ZBrush Character Sculpting Volume 1 by 3D Total, and it's got a bunch of projects by different like great artists. And again, there's a couple of like cool tricks. The thing about this sort of books is that they don't show you the whole process, right? Like it's not like a tutorial or anything like that. But if you already know how to use the tools, you can get a lot of like cool workflow ideas and information from this one. And this is the like someone has been asking how to make shoes. Well, this is an excellent one right here. This is again ZBrush Character Sculpting Volume 1, projects, tips, and techniques from the masters. It's all like up much. Yeah, good, by 3D Total. And then there's other one. But this one is very old, so a lot of the tools that you're gonna see on this book might not be useful anymore, or they might be newer tools. This is by Paul Gaubery, who's one of the ZBrush guys, and again, it's got a lot of like cool information about like really cool tools. This is more if you want to learn like the basics of ZBrush, because it has a lot of like cool ideas. All of these tools are still usable. You can still use them. It's just that there might be some tools that are new. Even has the CD from back in the day. They don't do this anymore. Yeah, this is the ZBrush Professional Tips and Techniques by Paul Gaubery. Gaubery? I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, to be honest, but by Paul. Paul is one of the big guys from ZBrush. Yeah. No, those are old books. Like I got those books like 12 years ago or something like that. So as you can see now, what I'm doing here is I'm creating some planes within the same planes of the crystal. Kind of like tertiary detail that I want to add. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that, to be honest, because I feel like that might be a little bit too noisy. Or to have like the soft gradients right there. And what we might need to add is just a little bit more contrast. So I'm still going to, instead I'm going to add a little bit of a softer, darker tone right here. And remember, a darker tone close to a lighter tone, more contrast, therefore can generate or make something look a bit more interesting. This is problem with the programs specifically. Yeah, they get outdated. They do get outdated. Thanks for going all the way. Love you, Abe. Appreciate you. You're welcome, my friend. Happy to help. All right, Dave and chat, let me leave. Bye. Have fun. Always learning, also improving. Get some rest, my friend. Have a good one. Okay, so you guys ready for a little final tip here? Very cool. Like one of the reasons why this works so well, why this can work so well, if you have a strong foundation in value, you can incorporate color very easily. That's one of the reasons why value is so freaking important. Could you please include some hand-painted techniques in 3D code for the coming creator course? I'd love to learn more about your hand-painting skills. Say, Job Jung, are you living under a rock? Are you kidding me? Is that a joke? Take a look at this, friend. Take a look at this, please. What if you could create a stylized 3D character? Fully sculpted, hand-painted, and game-ready, just like the ones in your favorite games. In this course, I'll take you step by step through the full production of this undead pirate captain. Concept is by the amazing Labros Paunousis, who knows exactly what is needed to create an amazing character design. We will be sculpting the high poly in ZBrush. We will retopologize it, prepare the UVs, bake, and then the part that everyone loves. We dive directly into hand painting our character. We will cover color theory, shading techniques, and how to make your textures pop with a lot of personality. By the end, you will have a fully posed, game-ready character, completely optimized with hand-painted textures, ready for your portfolio, your game engine, or your own stylized universe. This is the complete pipeline. Every single step in real time. Now, if this is your first time, don't worry. We have full support available, an amazing Discord community where you can ask questions, ask for feedback, and showcase your progress. So, if you're ready to master the hand-painted style, let's bring this undead captain to life. Enroll now and start painting like a pro. So you said you wanted a couple of little tips about hand painting skills? There you go, my friend. We got the full course ready, my friend. The full course ready about hand painting skills, techniques, sculpting, retopology, UVs. We do every single part of the pipeline. So if you really want to learn a little bit more about the whole process, there you go. Colt, he was asking, Colt, if I could include a little bit of hand painting techniques in 3D code on the upcoming creature course. So yeah, there we go. We don't need to wait until the creature course. We got the hand-painted course ready for you guys. So here's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to go here and what color should the gem be? What color should the gem be? I think I'm going to make it blue, to be honest. And the reason why I want to make it blue is because I want to have a little bit of contrast. Purple. Ooh, purple actually works very well. So the complementary color for green is red, usually. But purple is sort of close to red and to blue, so purple might work very, very nice. Blue with purple highlights. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So we can use both of them. But I think we're gonna go purple, like a bright purple on the highlights, and then a blue on the shadows, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. This is one method of converting an image such as this, or a black and white element, into something more interesting, okay? So on a new layer, I'm gonna sample, or I'm gonna go for a full purple, like fully saturated purple, something like this. And we're just gonna fill in all of the lower sections of the element. Again, this is just one way to do it. There's multiple ways. We actually explore those on the course as well. So I'm going to do something like that. And then I'm going to go for a blue, but it's going to be a desaturated blue, a little bit darker. Maybe like a turquoise, something like that. And this one's going to be more on the shadows. I'm doing all of this on a new layer, of course, right? And then what we can do is we can set this to a specific color mode. So for instance, the basic or the most obvious one could be something like color. And if we do color, as you can see, we ignore all of the other colors, or in this case, we sort of like bring in the saturation, or not saturation, the values from the underlying layers, and we're just like overlaying the whole thing. I don't like this one as much. I'm going to try color dodge, or I'm going to try something like what did I try? Color dodge? No, overlay. Overlay I really like, because then if we start like bringing the opacity down, we can get a very, very nice, interesting blend right here. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go to my fill tool. Let me grab my pink color again. I'm just going to fill the whole thing. There we go. So as you can see, just by filling this with this purple, that already works quite nice. And in a new layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my blue color. And I'm going to grab a soft brush instead. A soft brush right here. And if I want to change the hue, I'm going to start sort of like brushing in some of this blue color over here. And this one, I'm going to set to Ooh, color dodge looks quite interesting, to be honest. This is the fun thing about blending modes, that you can really play with them and find some interesting effects. What about multiply? Multiplies. Oh, actually, kind of follows where we want to go, right? For this sort of like darker hue, we can do something like that. Can you do this in Substance too? Yeah, we can also do this in Substance. Now here I'm going to go to my eraser. And I'm going to use my tablet here to sort of like bring a little bit of my gradients back. Next, we want to see a little bit of that pinkish hue appear some of these elements. Where we have the highlights, we want to see a little bit more of the pinkish hues. Look how pretty this is looking, right? This is the beauty, or this is the sort of like the advantage of having very clean values. And we didn't even finish the polishing stage of the values. We still had like stuff to work on. But even without having finished anything or everything, you can already get like this very, very nice, glowy, like magical crystal. Like it really looks like there's light coming from within, right? That's like Valorant style. Yeah, a little bit. Valorant Souls. I'm not sure if Valorant is hand painted. Might be, right? Some of the new games like Wayfinder. Is it called Wayfinder? Some of them do use other maps like a roughness map or like a mildness map or sometimes like a normal map. So you can have a traditional PBR workflow technique and hand painted stuff at the same time. Now the cool thing is, now that I have more values and more colors, I know that I can go for some more details. So for instance, if I already know that this is the pinkish sort of like hue that I'm going to be using, I can go to my brush, and if I want to add a little bit more of that effect on other areas, like for instance here, I already have the colors right there to start sampling and start adding a little bit more of that information. This is the beauty of sort of like, again, building our values first and then using colors, have a nicer, cleaner approach, and then we can keep polishing. As with everything in 3D, guys, remember, there's multiple ways to get to the same result. Some people like to use that option. Some people like to use other elements like gradients, for instance. There's multiple ways to get to a nice result. But yeah, this one I really like. I personally really like using just like overlays and things like that to incorporate a little bit of a different hue. And you can see that instead of having a monochrome effect, by adding this blue element, we add some more visual interest to the whole piece. Let's see how this looks with the character. So let's go texture, export, color albedo map. Let's save it again right there. Go. Yes, let's replace. And by replacing, we just go back over here. Ah, oh, that looks beautiful. Look at that. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, right? What's the biggest difference between Substance Painter and 3D Code? As Alan is saying right there, the way the brushes behave and sort of like the overall technique, it just looks really, really nice. Yeah, I like it. I like it. And the reason why this works so well is because they complement each other, right? Again, there are complementary colors. So green and red are complementary colors. This pinkish, purplish hue is really close to that red color. So it makes greens look brighter. It makes them look a lot more interesting. And the greens make the pinks look more interesting as well. So it's kind of like both of them helping each other to go to the next level. How hard is it to do the same thing in Substance? See, I'm going to show you. So as you can see here in Substance, we already have this base. The problem is the brushes. So yes, I can just add a layer here, do the same sort of like pinkish layer, set this to, what's the word? What was it? Overlay, right? Was it overlay or was it linear dodge? That's probably soft light. We can try soft light right now. So let's imagine this is it, right? And then I want to add a new layer. And here's the thing. If I add a paint layer, and I want to paint like the white element right there, I can try it. But as you can see, the brush is not behaving the exact same way because right now it's using pressure together. And I could be like, okay, let's turn off the pressure and I'm going to paint like this. Sure, it's working. And then we can go to like the stroke opacity and turn that on so that we have stroke opacity right there. It works, but here's my main issue with this, and it's something so simple, but at the same time so important. When I'm painting, right? Not working. Earth. There we go. That's a little bit better. So when I'm painting, as you can see right here, if I want to sample that color right there to keep on painting in 3D Code, it's very simple. I literally just press the V key on my keyboard, and now I have that color on my brush. So I can just be coloring, pressing V, and then just sampling that. In this one, I can't. I need to do something else, and I don't even remember what that was, but I need to do another sort of like point and click thing to sample that color. Don't remember the shortcut exactly, but it's this one right here, and then I sample the color, and then I click, and then I can keep painting. And then I need to, again, either activate the hotkey or click, and then keep painting. And as you can see, it doesn't really blend the things the way I would like it to blend it, or the way I can blend it here inside of 3D Code. So that's why it's so important. No, Michael, I've been working on 3D Code. on Substance, I just did the basic construction of the values. So this thing right here with some generators and stuff to use as an initial thing. And then here inside of 3D Code, we've been painting all of this. So this was the initial thing from Substance. And then this is some value changes and blockings that we did to sort of like generate the shape that we actually want. And then we did more details, and then we did the colors. And now we're just doing some like final adjustments. Again, we can adjust this even more and more if we want to. So it is I would say the recipe way harder to do this inside of Substance. 3D Code is much more, what's the word? Much more, oh my god, what's the word? Noble? Easy to work with? Flexible? I'm not sure the exact adjective I would use right there, but it's a lot more. It's a lot easier. I would definitely intuitive. Yeah, that's a better word. Now for PBR stuff, I would definitely do PBR stuff inside of Substance. The tools that we have inside of Substance to do PBR stuff, or even here inside of Marmoset, are way better than they are in other software. Someone was mentioning Armor Crate or something like that. Armory. That's another like texturing software. I've never used it. It's just not as good. It's a really good extra tool recipe. If you're going to be doing hand-painted stuff, you definitely need 3D Code. You don't need the full package for 3D Code. You could get 3D Textura, for instance, which is a little bit cheaper. But yeah, it's both of them are really good. But yeah, look at that, guys. Not bad, right? Not bad for a little bit of work today. And the cool thing is, at any point, we could change the colors. Like, if we don't want this crystal to be pink and we want this crystal to be, I don't know, yellow or red or whatever, we can do it. We can very easily change that effect. This whole water, for instance, I also painted that inside of 3D Code. As you can see, I painted the little like water, like waves that hit the object. This whole thing right here, I 3D painted in 3D Code along with a little bit of Substance. So it's important. It's important. Hello, my friend. Let's see. So 3D Code for hand-painted stuff and Substance for realism. That would be a really, again, sort of like good take, I would say. 3D Maniac, you're right. The proper word would be user-friendly. This is an artist. Who is an artist? Am I an artist? I hope to be an artist. Let's see. That one 3D artist has a great question. Says, have you encountered a situation where you had to stand firm on the tough decision and you question if it was the right decision? This is a general question that could be applied to anything, but I'd love to know your thought. Yes. And here's the thing, that one 3D artist. Every decision you make is the right decision. It sounds really interesting, right? Every decision you make is the right decision. The reason why that is because it's impossible to know what the other decision would have been. We can't know. We only have one life. We only have one path. You might decide, hey, I'm going to move abroad and I'm going to try to look for a job in a studio. And that could have been the best decisions you could have taken, but you will never know because you will never have the option to do the opposite, right? It's so weird. It's such a weird thing, but it's very important that you guys don't get stuck in making a decision. The best decision that you can do, or the best thing that you can do, is just make the decision and play the thing out. Like, let's hope for the best, of course. We always want our decisions to be the best decisions, but it's never going to be possible for you to know if it's the right decision or not. It's just a decision. I listened to a podcast recently, And there was a teacher that was talking about this. Apparently, she helps a lot of students decide what kind of school they go to, right? Like, let's say they got accepted to Harvard and to Oxford and to, I don't know, like this big Ivy League schools. And she helps them decide. And they're always struggling. It's like, I don't know which one to pick. It's like, you don't know. Like, there could be a lot of objective metrics that could be like, oh, this is the best decision that you should be taking. But then you make that decision, and it turns out that was the worst decision you could have taken because of a lot of different things that you didn't think were going to happen. And, well, it sucks, right? And you could have gone to another place and have the exact same situation. I'm going to give you another example. Back when I was a student, there was the option for me to try to stay in the US and work for a big studio for a big movie that they were developing back at the time. And I entered the interview process. They talked to me. They saw my stuff. They really liked what I was doing. Some of my friends actually ended up working on that film. I'm not going to say which specific film, but they worked there. And at that time, I had to make a decision. It's like, do I stay here in the US? Because I could have stayed like a couple more months and fight for that position. Or do I come back here to Mexico and start my own stuff? And I decided the second one. I decided to come back here and start my own stuff. That was the decision that I made. Was that the right decision? Right now, I can say I'm very happy with that decision because thanks to that decision, I got married, I have a kid, I have this amazing community with you guys, and I've been able to pursue what I love while being close to my family and my friends. So to me, at this point in my life, I can tell you it's been like the best decision I could have taken. But if you asked me the same question like 7 years ago when I had nothing of what I had right now, I might have said, no, you know what, I think I made the wrong decision. So that's why decisions are so tricky, because we always think back at them and we say, oh, I should have decided something different. That's not how it works. You need to be very firm, as you mentioned in your message, and say, hey, I'm not sure if this is the right decision, but this is what I need to do now. This is what my heart's telling me to do now. If you believe in a higher power or things like that, that's fine. If you feel that this is the decision, don't think about it as a right decision or wrong decision. If you feel this is the decision that you need to make, do it. One thing that I can tell you, and this is, again, very personal for me as well, always take the decision or always make the decision that you're not going to regret later. Or rather, don't take a decision. No, let me phrase this the right way. Make sure you pick the thing that if you pick it and it fails, even if it fails, later down the line, you're not going to regret picking that decision. Does that make sense? So if you say, like most of us right here, right? Like we all decided to become 3D artists and everyone around us told us, you're not going to make a living out of this. The industry is dying. You should not be doing this. Pick something safer. I could not have lived with myself like 20 years from now, being a doctor. I was in med school back in the day, if you remember. I could not have lived with myself asking, what if, right? Like, what if I had done it? What if I had become a 3D artist? Like, that regret would have killed me. So that's why I did it. And I did it, and I even told my parents back then when I was starting, it's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And even if it doesn't work, I'll fall back into something else. Like, don't worry, I'm not going to live on the streets. But I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try this, and I don't want to regret, and I don't want to live a life thinking what could have happened if I didn't do it, right? So that would be my advice for you. Make sure you follow a decision that you know you're not going to regret, or you're not going to be living with the regret. And whenever I'm in that position where I'm sort of like thinking, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Like in that sort of like come and go decision where you're unsure. Like whenever I'm in a situation where I'm unsure, I just act. Either I am very firm and say, fuck it, let's do it. Or I'm like, no, let's not do it. But I don't want to live in that uncertainty, because living on that uncertainty is also like a hell in earth, right? Like you're in your own mental prison thinking of what could happen or what will happen, and you don't know until you are very firm and you freaking do it. So just do it. Like the freaking Nike commercial says, just make a decision and do it. This course actually was a little bit like that, because I was really debating, should we do the creature one? Should we do the this other one? Should we do the hand painted? Like I was really debating, and you can ask David, like I was unsure for a couple of weeks, and I was just like stopped, and I didn't know what to do. And deep down, I was like, I really want to do the hand painted course. Like I really want to do that. And I was like, okay, do I feel prepared? Do I have all of the information? Is it going to be a valuable thing that I can share with everyone? And I just did it. I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to do my best. I don't want to regret later. I'm just going to go for it. And that's one of the best things that you can do in terms of decisions. Like don't second guess yourself. Just be very firm. Make the decision. some decisions will be painful, some decisions will require sacrifice, some decisions will take you out of your comfort zone. That's part of life. But being firm about it and then playing with the cards that you're given at that point, that's the best advice I can give you. And I'm learning that myself as well as we keep going forward. So don't think that I'm like this super wise person that knows or has all of the answers. It's just my opinion and the way I can share my experience with you. Okay? Hopefully that helps. And sorry if I went a little bit too long right there. Daniel Da Costa, what's up, my friend? Yeah, I'll check it back after the stream. I'm not sure if I missed it in this last couple of days, but I'll check that, okay? Thank you for being part of the community as well. Let's see, Kurt says, regret is based on the present moment, not on the past, because bad decisions can eventually turn to great decisions on a longer timeline. Yeah, that's right. I missed the registration date for art school, but I wanted to get out, so I majored in philosophy. Okay, well, philosophy is really cool, man. I really enjoy philosophy as well. My parents wanted me to be a teacher because that means a stable flow of money, but I don't think I could live with myself if I would have done it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we only have one life. I know it sounds very corny and very cliche, but we only have one life. So the best thing we can do is try to make the decisions that gets us there. Of course, be realistic. Of course, try to understand what's going on around you. Don't be reckless on the decision-making thing, right? Like, it's not like I could say, hey, now I want to be a blacksmith. I'm going to drop everything and become a blacksmith and live from that. That's not that probably wouldn't be a smart decision. But I'm probably thinking that you're not asking about those kind of decisions. It's more of like personal decisions of what steps need to be taken to get to the next stage, right? So, yeah, that's it, my friends. I think we're going to stop it right here. I'm really happy with this little exercise that we did here with the crystal. Sort of like a bonus lesson for all of you guys that are going to be embarking on this journey to create your own undead captain. As you guys know, we just released this course right here, this new hand-painted course where we covered not only hand-painted stuff and 3D code elements, we cover retopology, UVs, bakes, posing, rendering, presentation, all of these elements right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this course. It's been a blast doing it. I hope I could do where I wish I had this as a full-time job, just doing 3D painted stuff, because it's so fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy all of the love that was put into making this course and preparing it for you. It's available right now on the side. We're gonna have more 3D stuff and more 3D code stuff as well in the next coming weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you everyone for being part of the stream. To those who won the giveaway, well, thank you as well, and congratulations. I will be reaching out to you in the following hours to make sure that we get that sorted out. And yeah, thank you for the stream, everyone. Thank you for being here. Sorry for some of the technical things that we had throughout the stream, but this stream will be available here on the YouTube in case you guys want to watch it, follow it along. I think I'll be dropping the crystal either on the Google Drive folders or on some sort of like free resource. Let me just check what's the best option. So in case you want to follow the crystal, you can also do that. Okay, my friends? Have a great weekend. We're going to have more 3D content coming on soon. We had a great series this week. You guys really liked me going over some student work, so we're probably going to be doing that more often. And yeah, thank you, David. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everyone. I will be seeing you back very soon. And don't forget, always learning, always improving, my friends. Always learning, always improving. I'll see you back on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.